Sheriff John Hayden how he's able to handle this new responsibility. He says they've been able to fill out vacant positions.
We're making progress with with a lot of job fairs. We're attending a lot of job fairs and doing a lot of recruitment, and so it's our belief that we'll be able to have that back that up without a problem of loss.
Hayden says negotiations are still ongoing regarding details. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
2 men are charged with murder for gunning down a food truck owner on a Sunday night in April. 25-year-old Dayon Hartfield and 32-year-old Todd Weems are both being held without bond. Around 6:30 on April 19th, 1 man and 2 women were shot near a food truck in Ferguson. The man who owned that food truck later died at a hospital. Video showed the suspects driving toward Illinois, and police found their car on fire. Then they were caught on camera again running from the burning car.
The man behind a deadly shooting in the Academy neighborhood will spend more than a decade behind bars.
Glenn Bailey will serve 15 years after pleading guilty to a charge of voluntary manslaughter in the February 2024 shooting of Amarnath Ghosh. Officials say the now 48-year-old drove his vehicle to the intersection of Delmar Boulevard and Clarendon Avenue, bringing other gunmen to shoot and kill Ghosh. Officers found the man dead near an intersection with multiple gunshot wounds. Police say evidence indicates 3 firearms were used in that shooting. Bailey was already serving a 6-year federal prison sentence in connection to contraband recovered during the execution of a search warrant, which was part of this homicide investigation. Investigators say they seized firearms and narcotics from his residence in St. Louis County. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
Missouri voters will head to the polls later this summer to decide 4 constitutional amendments. Governor Kehoe has scheduled the questions for the August 4th primary. The most contested is Amendment 5, which would phase out the state income tax and replace that revenue with higher sales taxes.
Also on the ballot, Amendment 4, a Republican proposal to make it harder for citizens to amend the state constitution, plus an extension of the existing sales tax that funds state parks and conservation, and a question on whether to make the Jackson County tax assessor an elected position. The income tax measure is already facing a lawsuit over whether its ballot language is misleading.
Some great news for Lambert International Airport this week. Senator Eric Schmidt and Representative Wesley Bell say $30 million in federal funds is coming St. Louis's way. It's aimed at completing the consolidated terminal project, replacing aging infrastructure, and more. Schmidt says the dollars will help drive economic growth and build a world-class transportation hub connecting our region for future generations.
Bell calls the grant a huge win for the St. Louis region, saying the work doesn't stop here as he works to bring more resources and regional growth to his congressional district. Bell last announced $3.1 million in federal funding this March aimed at supporting power infrastructure and terminal consolidation at Lambert International Airport.
There's a village of tiny homes being built just for veterans in Union, Missouri. Dan Menzie, president of Veterans Way, says there's huge demand for housing.
We're getting phone calls pretty much daily now with veterans that unfortunately are on the streets or will be on the streets shortly.
Construction on the first 21 tiny homes should be completed later this summer. Menzie says the units will be fully furnished and equipped. Veterans have to apply for HUD assistance to qualify. You can find out more when we go in depth on this story at 8:11 this morning.
St. Louis County Animal Care and Control is waiving all adoption fees for large dogs this holiday weekend through Tuesday. The shelter is once again facing an overcrowding crisis with more than 170 dogs at Animal Care and Control.
County Health Director Dr. Kanika Cunningham says for weeks they have been over capacity. She says having populations that high complicates the ability to provide basic care, veterinary care, and adequate housing for the animals. The shelter on Bauer Boulevard is open from 10 to 4 today and tomorrow.
We'll check that Memorial Day forecast for you next. It's 6:08.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is Who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Road trip through America's musical past as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra teams up with the sensational doo-wop project for a night of vintage soul and seamless harmonies. Experience the iconic sounds that shaped American music through the evolution of doo-wop, including favorites like Sherry and Walk Like a Man, along with doo-wopified renditions of modern hits and more. Buckle up for a feel-good celebration that brings generations together, featuring the Doo-Wop Project and your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Saturday, May 30th at Powell Hall. Tickets on sale now at slso.org.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Don't miss the final home game of the season. Your St. Louis Battlehawks take on the Dallas Renegades Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. at the Dome. It's Battlehawks Kids Day. Plus, fans can score an Archie bobblehead while supplies last. Tickets start at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com. Caw-caw.
It is 6:10 and welcome to Total Information AM for this Monday, May 25th. It is Memorial Day. Most of you will have the day off today, some not. And if you're out and about, we'll try to keep you aware of any traffic situations that may pop up. But I imagine it's going to be pretty light traffic today, except to some Memorial Day observances around town, maybe the area shopping mall. But looking at the forecast for today, should be pretty nice, honestly. There is no rain in this forecast. So we're looking at sunshine and some clouds and a high of 81 degrees. Increasing clouds tonight. And then by tomorrow, we're back to mostly cloudy with a shower later in the afternoon, a high of 80. Wednesday, shower and thunderstorm around. Otherwise, clouds and sun, 82. Warm and humid with a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Thursday with a high of 83, and then considerable cloudiness with showers and thunderstorms Friday with a high of 77. So that definitely sounds like post-Memorial Day weekend weather. We're into official summer weather with 56 degrees right now. We have, it says officially cloudy, but looking out the windows here, Studio B, I'm calling it sunny. And
good call.
56 degrees.
Joe Lundberg would be proud of you. Missouri Congressman Wesley Bell also says he's received more than 47,000 messages on President Trump from his constituents.
I come from a North St. Louis County union household. This isn't time for weakness. Principled leaders must take a stand. That's why I'm fighting for an independent investigation of the Epstein files, to defund ICE, and against cuts to your health care.
This comes after a number of Senate Republicans are criticizing President Trump's so-called anti-weaponization fund aimed at compensating allies who allege mistreatment by the Biden administration.
Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth, no stranger to combat, and an Army Iraq War veteran who lost both her legs in 2004, is worried about how military personnel are being handled in the current Iran war.
When somebody puts on the uniform of this great nation and they make the commitment that they're willing to lay down their lives to defend the United States of America, they trust that their civilian leadership will do right by them.
Duckworth says our troops deserve a commander-in-chief who doesn't throw them into an unjustified war with no plan and no end state.
The journey to the FIFA World Cup 26 starts at Energizer Park in downtown St. Louis next month, and people are expected from all over the world. An epidemiologist is talking with CNN about his concerns.
And that has some expressing concerns. With the epicenter of Ebola being in the Democratic Republic of Congo, cases have spread to neighboring countries in Central Africa, and violence in the DRC is complicating dealing with the outbreak. Dr. Carlos Del Rio is an epidemiologist and chair of medicine at Emory University School of Medicine, and he says it's not fully clear how this latest strain acts.
It's a little slower in spreading, but the onset of symptoms is not as acute as in the other form of Ebola. So potentially somebody could be infected and transmitting others before you know it. And initially they can have fever, fatigue, body aches, and yet still be transmitting. So really controlling this outbreak is critically important.
Added concerns: the United States has pulled out of the World Health Organization and the closure of USAID. He says there has to be a lot of contact tracing, isolation, quarantine, and support for those infected.
USAID really had a lot of food, boots on the ground that could do something at this point in time.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
A former Cardinals pitcher, three-time World Series champion and best-selling author is bringing a new poke bowl spot to Edwardsville.
Cohibito Poke, a fast casual restaurant that lets patrons build their own poke bowls, is opening its 10th location in Edwardsville this summer. The grand opening of the Edwardsville location will be on June 26th, marking Cohibito Poke's first expansion into the St. Louis Metro East. The new storefront will have 22 seats, an open visibility design, and plenty of sushi-grade salmon, tuna, chicken, tofu, and more. Former MLB pitcher Todd Stottlemyre, the co-founder and CEO of Cohibito Poke, calls the Edwardsville location an important step in business growth. Stottlemyre also says he has faith in the work of new owners Kyle Weeder and Matt Schmidt. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
I covered Todd back in the day, late 90s. The Cardinals didn't play yesterday. They got rained out in Cincinnati. They will make that up in August. Meanwhile, after all that, a split doubleheader on Saturday. Remember, they didn't play on Friday either. The Cardinals had to sit there all day yesterday and didn't play. Guess what? They gained ground in the NL Central. The Cubs have lost 8 in a row, and the Cardinals are now a game and a half out in the division, trailing the Brewers. And oh, baby, look who faces each other today. The Cardinals and the Brewers on KMOX this afternoon for your Memorial Day. A 1:10 start. We'll have the pregame at 12:15. Matthew Liberatore makes the start against the sensational Jacob Misiorowski. Miz is one of the more dynamic pitchers in the game today. He's 4-2 with a 1.89 ERA. He throws triple-digit fastballs with ease. But Liberatore has held his own this year. Miz with 88 strikeouts to Liberatore's 43. But Libby, sporting a 2-2 record with a 4.70 ERA, will give you all he has. He can get ground ball outs. He can get through a lineup. And the Cardinals are playing well for the most part. They split the series with the Pirates after losing a series. They lost the series to the Pirates and split the series with the Reds. But before that, they beat the Royals 2 out of 3. They beat the A's 2 out of 3. They split with the Padres. And they split with the Brewers the last time these two faced. That was in early May. And again, the Cardinals have worked their way right into the playoff picture. They're one of the best teams in baseball right now, a top 10 team with a record of 29-22 and a game and a half behind the Brewers. Brewers are 30-20. Milwaukee's lost back-to-back games. Again, a 1:10 start right here on KMOX. The biggest story in sports yesterday was the Indianapolis 500, the closest finish ever.
Malukas hunting, to the high side, around the outside, into the lead. Malukas leads with 1 to go. Rosenquist round the outside of his teammate through 1, into the short tune in 2. Teammates battle side by side, but out front, the young American chasing his first win off turn 2. David Malukas goes to defend. The MSR driver still side by side, but will that play into Malukas' hands? And here comes Pato O'Ward. Malukas is out in front. Side by side behind. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Malukas has to defend from Rosenquist. Great run off the final corner. Here comes Rosenquist. Malukas defends. Who has it? Over the line. Who's it going to be? It's Rosenquist. It's Rosenquist. Oh my goodness.
The call on Fox, Felix Rosenquist with an incredible run. He was third in that final restart. David Malukas, you heard right there, took the lead on Marcus Armstrong. Here's Armstrong on Wish TV in Indianapolis.
was given two options. Either I lift or I crash with Felix. And I chose to lift.
Tough emotion there for Armstrong. Malukas was distraught. He was in tears after losing that. The closest finish ever, a half a car length for Rosenquist. You'll hear from him in a half hour. Malukas was just here in our KMOX studios not a month ago promoting the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. The American loses by half a car length to Felix Rosenquist, who is the third Swede ever to win the Indianapolis 500 in the closest finish ever. The St. Louis Battlehawks have clinched a playoff spot. They beat the Houston Gamblers yesterday on the road 21-15 after dropping one to them at the Dome a week prior. So the Week 9 win for the Battlehawks puts them in the postseason. Speaking of the postseason, the Vegas Golden Knights have taken a 3-0 series lead on the Colorado Avalanche. They were down 3-0 after one period last night at home and stormed back for a 5-3 victory. They're up 3-0 in that series. They're tied 2-2 between San Antonio and Oklahoma City. The Spurs ripped the Thunder last night, 103-82. Victor Wembanyama had 33 points. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX, and the Redbird Report was sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We're joined by Dr. Lewis Thomas, a WashU medicine urologist at Siteman Cancer Center, as we discuss bladder cancer. Dr. Thomas, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks for having me on, Tom. It's my pleasure.
What is bladder cancer? How is it unique? And is it a common cancer?
Yeah, it's a great question. So bladder cancer is a cancer that develops from the inner lining of the bladder. The bladder is an organ that is basically responsible for storing urine and then, helping push the urine out during urination. There's a lining to that bladder, and that lining is exposed to all the things that are in the urine, including sometimes, carcinogenic elements, and that can lead to development of cancer of the lining of the bladder.
Thanks to Dr. Lewis Thomas and Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information on prevention and treatment options, go to siteman.washu.edu.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is now 6:22 from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. We've got a really nice forecast for today if you've got any plans outdoors. Just slightly on the warm side, but other than that, 81 degrees, sunshine, a few clouds. So overall, a very nice day. But then the next 4 days, we have the possibility of rain. So no rain in the forecast for today, but tomorrow, maybe a shower later in the afternoon, a high of 80, and then a shower or thunderstorm around on Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe into Friday. Sunshine and 56 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis.
Well, you just heard us talking about the World Cup starting in St. Louis. You might be thinking, wait a minute, I thought there aren't any World Cup matches in St. Louis. There aren't, but there is a World Cup friendly, if you will, a matchup between Bosnia-Herzegovina and Panama. It's happening on June 6th. That's coming up soon at Energizer Park in downtown St. Louis. Part of the Summer of Soccer as St. Louis City SC welcomes soccer fans from all over the world to take in the World Cup via watch parties, celebrations, youth soccer matchups, and the matchup between the Bosnians and the Panamanians, which is expected to draw a massive crowd. And this is a weekend where you're going to have Cardinal baseball, potentially Battlehawks playoff football, IndyCar, and soccer. President Diego Giuliani of St. Louis City SC with me.
Yeah, for all the sports fans in the city, it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, Panama versus Bosnia is a great game. Both of those are World Cup qualified teams, and we know how much Bosnia means to the city. So, yeah, June 6th is right around the corner. There's still tickets available, and it's a great opportunity to see two World Cup teams playing in our doorstep.
I know you're in World Cup mode, and now soccer fans, certainly, I mean, it's here. The reality is that North America is hosting. Tell us a little bit about the Summer of Soccer and what you have planned coming up for fans in the St. Louis area.
Yeah, we've been working hard to make sure that it feels like the World Cup is here in St. Louis. I know we won't have any official games here, but that's not to stop the feeling of the World Cup from being everywhere around here. So we've got lots of things planned, including that friendly match between Panama and Bosnia, but we also have watch parties for all the U.S. men's national team games, including a big one planned for Friday, June 12th. That's the USA team's debut against Paraguay. And it's going to be Friday evening in the summer, 8 p.m. kickoff. So we're going to open up our fan zone at 5 p.m. There's going to be, food trucks and music and, playing football with kids, big screens to be able to enjoy that game and hopefully celebrate the first win. So that's a really big festival that we hope. And then we've got an initiative called 40 Days of Soccer, where we are going to be activating in different locations of the region every day of the World Cup. So going to some iconic locations, but also going to different locations where we have built mini pitches for those communities to use. So 40 days nonstop, a lot of people all over the city.
And you really span the entire area, don't you? I mean, you're over in Illinois, you're out west, you're all over the place. So I think this from the beginning, when this team first came into existence, St. Louis City meant that this is your city, this is your downtown, this region's team.
That's the idea. And we do want this club, we've always wanted to be about the community and about bringing the community together and uniting around sports, which we know this city does regularly. So we were able to go to locations as important to the city, like the Arch or Forest Park, but also those that are authentic to soccer here, like the Hill. And then there's a lot of other destinations planned. We're going to be in Fairmont City, we're going to be in Ballpark Village, and we're really just trying to take soccer out to the community.
St. Louis City SC, the 40 Days of Soccer celebrations, the Summer of Soccer. There's so much going on. As Diego mentioned, watch parties, pickup soccer events, prizes galore. Lots of stuff going on with the World Cup happening. Final question for you. Where could U.S. soccer go from here? I mean, what does it mean to the sport here in this country? We know that it's the most popular sport in the world. The casual sports fan could come away with something very different here once this is all over.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope. If there's one team I want to be successful in this World Cup, it's USA, because I know what that can do to bringing new people into the sport. And the more people that we have following the sport, the more fans St. Louis City will have. I would say that, not long ago, a couple of months ago, there was a survey of U.S. residents and what is people's number one favorite sport, and soccer is third in the U.S. now. So soccer as a sport continues growing, but the potential around the World Cup in our territory with USA doing great would be amazing.
That's Diego Giuliani, the president of St. Louis City SC. The Summer of Soccer is well underway as Bosnia-Herzegovina and Panama will play at Energizer Park on June 6th. Tickets are still available. It's 6:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Let's talk about Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best is Chesterfield Fence and Deck. ChesterfieldFence.com. When you go there, you're going to see all the fences, the decks, the sunrooms, the screen rooms, the patios, the pergolas for yourself. But I would highly suggest that you go check it out in person. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, located in Chesterfield Valley, has a phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal, showroom. Transform your backyard with high-quality fence installation, deck building, outdoor living solutions right here in St. Louis, and they've been doing it for almost 60 years now, since 1968. They're trusted, they're durable, they're experts, and they do it all. Fences, decks, pergolas, patios, sunrooms, retaining walls. Their dedicated team ensures that every project is tailored to your unique needs and outdoor lifestyle. This is outdoor living, a day for everybody, I think, Memorial Day. So enjoy your day, take a look around, and say, okay, Chesterfield Fence and Deck, come on over for a free in-home consultation and tell me what I need to do. Mention me, Tom Ackerman, or Debbie for that matter, and receive 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. With Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mirafiber gummies.
Objection!
It's true. Mirafiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mirafiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mirafiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
Deer season is here at Seidenstricker Nobe Partners. If you've been thinking about a new mower, gator, or compact tractor, May is the time to take a look. Get cash off new select John Deere equipment, plus affordable finance options to help make your purchase even easier. Bring home dependable equipment built for the season ahead. Come see us at any of our S&P dealerships or visit snpartners.com. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 6/3/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial # law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It is 6:31, and right now it is sunny in downtown St. Louis and 57 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Our weather forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says Memorial Day is going to be ideal. Sunshine and some clouds, nice and warm this afternoon, a high of 81 degrees. Increasing clouds tonight, a low of 62. Might get a shower later in the afternoon Tuesday with a high of 80. Wednesday, warm, more humid, a shower or thunderstorm around and a high of 82 degrees. Thursday, clouds, warm and humid, thunderstorm in the afternoon. Sounds like summer weather. A high of 83. Currently, it's cloudy, but we have sun in downtown St. Louis and 58 degrees.
The Memorial Day ceremony at Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery starts at 10 this morning with a procession to the Old Flag Circle. The U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America from Scott Air Force Base will perform with the St. Louis Gateway Singers. The guest speaker will be Command Sergeant Major Douglas Childs.
The annual Memorial Day observance at Soldiers Memorial Military Museum in downtown kicks off at 10 with a wreath-laying ceremony. Yellow carnations will be available for attendees to place at one of 5 outdoor memorials. There's also a new exhibition, Declaration 1776, The Big Bang of Modern Democracy.
There's an 11 o'clock ceremony in O'Fallon, Missouri at the Veterans Memorial Walk. O'Fallon, Illinois will have their ceremony at 11:30 at the Veterans Monument. The Memorial Day Parade in Belleville steps off from North 3rd and West A Street at 10. St. Charles Memorial Gardens hosting a festival starting at noon and a ceremony at 2.
Sheriff's deputies will be patrolling St. Louis City's public pools this weekend after the state-controlled police department said it lacked the park rangers this summer. KMOX asked Mayor Spencer's chief operating officer, Ben Johnson, if he's confident they can find an emergency contract by Tuesday, and he raised a question.
I'm confident we can do that. The real question here is who pays for it.
When we have those shortages, it's that department budget that pays for some kind of a service, contracted service gap fill.
Police spokesman Mitch McCoy vague when asked if the department would pick up the tab.
If the Board of Police Commissioners believes that it's something that should be on us, then the Board of Police Commissioners will foot that bill.
Park Rangers Commander Sergeant Donnie Walters says they only have the staff for 6 park rangers to be on patrol during the hours the pool operates and chose to prioritize other parks and events.
Along with covering the public pools this summer, the St. Louis City Sheriff's Department will be taking over the responsibility of protecting Metrolink stations. They'll be taking over that responsibility from City Police. Sheriff John Hayden says they've worked hard recruiting additional deputies, which has allowed this partnership.
We're making progress with a lot of job fairs. We're attending a lot of job fairs and doing a lot of recruitment, and so it's our belief that we'll be able to have that back that up without a problem of loss.
The previous sheriff, Alfred Montgomery, said he lacked the manpower to cover all the basic responsibilities of the office, like transporting detainees.
Your Money Minute is next. This news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com at 6:34.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
It's going on 6:36 on this Memorial Day Monday. Let's get you your Money Minute. It's sponsored by Aanen, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The most recent measures of the collective U.S. consumer mood have shown gloom, with last Friday's University of Michigan sentiment measure falling to a nearly half-century low amid rising inflation angst. Today we get the Conference Board snapshot of U.S. consumer confidence, also for this month. Like the Michigan measure, it is expected to be down, but because the methodology is different, with greater weight given to assessments of jobs and income prospects, that decline likely will be smaller. The launch of the Iran war back on the last day of February delivered an economic shock, which combined with factors such as high mortgage rates, pulled on the U.S. housing market. Today we get the measure of average home transaction prices from S&P Totality Case Shiller, with year-on-year price growth likely decelerating in March. Fewer potential buyers visiting model homes this spring suggests that the pace of new home sales likely slowed in April. We find out about that later in the week. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
Hello, 4th of July.
Back-to-back Jack! Kerry Robinson, a hero tonight!
The Cubs visit St. Louis May 29th through the 31st for a weekend of baseball's best rivalry at Busch Stadium. The history is real. The fans are loud, and the energy in the ballpark is unmatched. Day or night, every pitch matters when these two meet. So get ready, Cardinals fans. This is what summer baseball in St. Louis is all about. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/tickets.
The weekend starts at Busch Stadium. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou. With $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills. Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's now 6:40. NASCAR driver Kyle Busch died from severe pneumonia that progressed into sepsis, according to a statement released by his family. What is sepsis? How is it diagnosed? How can it be treated? Here's CBS News' Dr. John LaPook.
There have been a lot of questions about sepsis following NASCAR star Kyle Busch's death at only 41 from what his family said was severe pneumonia that was followed by sepsis. What is sepsis? Well, it's complicated, but simply put, it's when your body overreacts to infection. Say you have an infection in the lungs with pneumonia, for example. Instead of your immune system just concentrating on the lungs, the whole body gets involved. There's inflammation throughout and other changes. You can get dysregulation of the immune system, and it can lead to organ failure and even death. When somebody comes into an emergency room, the team should be aware of a sepsis protocol, and that means looking at the history, the physical exam. Are there clues that this person may be developing sepsis? Is the blood pressure too low, the pulse too high, respiratory rate too high, oxygen level too low? And there are also clues in the blood chemistries and other tests that can be done. When people do suspect sepsis, it's crucial that you act as quickly as possible, and that can involve intravenous hydration, antibiotics when indicated, and even medications to bring up the blood pressure if the blood pressure is too low. Now, you can get to a point where even with the best hospital in the world, the best treatment in the world, it's simply too late. And that is why it's so important to have a high level of suspicion. There are even AI systems now that are being used to try to help the medical team sort of get a clue earlier rather than later that sepsis is going on. So, unfortunately, modern medicine is good with a lot of things, and it's great early on with sepsis. You got to jump on it right away. You can really make a difference, but you can get to a point where even with the best hospital in the world, it's simply too late.
Just a tragic story. It's 6:42.
Let's get the very latest on this holiday weather from our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. I think this is the pick day of the forecast, Joe.
I think so. I mean, we don't have any rain in the forecast. Starting off with sunshine, there'll be some clouds, yes, but just a nice day, the high 81. And tonight, clouds will start to increase to those 62. Those clouds could lead to a shower later tomorrow. A good bit of the day still going to be dry, the high 80. For Wednesday, clouds and sun warm. We're going to feel more humid, and there could be a shower and thunderstorm around at almost any time, the high 82. And then just unsettled weather for the rest of the week, Thursday and Friday. Low 80s on Thursday, upper 70s on Friday. Both days will feature a shower and thunderstorm. Right now, it's 56 at St. Peter's, 59 in Florissant, and with that sunshine, it's 60 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Joe, thank you very much. At 6:43, sports in 2 minutes. Thousands of flight delays and hundreds of cancellations yesterday alone. Powerful storms stretching from the south to the northeast. ABC News meteorologist Jeff Smith.
Portions of the upper Midwest pretty warm. Chicago 83, Kansas City 85. How about 92 Billings, Montana? You get 90s into North Dakota as well. Pacific Northwest, some showers moving in from Seattle all the way to Portland. Back east, we're talking about the warming trend continuing. New York City getting up to 80 on Tuesday, 83 by Wednesday.
Before visiting the Taj Mahal overnight during his multi-day trip to India for diplomatic meetings, Secretary of State Marco Rubio shared an update on talks with Iran.
We're still a work in progress. As I said, we thought we might have some news last night. Maybe today. I wouldn't read too much into it. It takes a little while to hear back. So we have what I think is a pretty solid thing on the table in terms of their ability to open up the straits, get the straits open, enter into a very real, significant, time-limited negotiation on the nuclear matters.
More pressure on Capitol Hill lawmakers to support President Trump's White House ballroom project. ABC's Hannah Battah.
The Trump administration once again making its case for the president's ballroom after another shooting outside the White House.
Hey, everybody inside, get inside.
The president was in the Oval Office when officials say the suspect approached a security checkpoint, took out a gun from a bag, and began to shoot. Journalists outside the White House running for cover, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
We have to evacuate shooting. We have to evacuate shooting.
Officers say they fired back, killing the suspect.
Controversy surrounding the enhanced games held this weekend in Las Vegas. We get more from ABC's Sophie Flay.
Well, the Olympics go to great lengths to ensure performance-enhancing drugs don't poison the competition. The enhanced games encourage them. According to a new survey of most of the athletes, 91% used testosterone, 79% used human growth hormone, and 29% used anabolic steroids. Critics quick to condemn the event. The president of World Athletics saying no one within athletics takes the enhanced games seriously, and medical professionals warn of the many serious long-term health risks posed by PEDs.
Well, as promised, here he is, the winner of the Indianapolis 500, Felix Rosenqvist, with Jamie Little on Fox.
Felix Rosenqvist, you are an Indy 500 champion. Congratulations. How does that sound, Felix?
I don't even know what to say. What a car. Massive thanks to the team. We had two cars there in the wind at the end, and that's a very luxurious situation to be in for a team. So thanks, Maishank Racing, Honda, Sirius XM, the Morgan Wallen car. I think we were the best car today. I felt like we were in all situations. We kind of had it under control. That last yellow didn't help us, but it kind of worked out the right way when I got back to third, and then I just had a flat-out lap on the high line, and it stuck. It was just the coolest way you can finish win in Indy 500. So I really miss my wife and my newborn child, Stella, here. I wish they were here with me, but my sister is here somewhere, so I'll celebrate with her. Thank you.
A lot of emotion for Felix Rosenqvist. His wife just had a new baby girl 2 weeks ago, and they were not able to attend his Indianapolis 500 victory. The most famous race in the world now goes to Rosenqvist, winning by half a car length, the closest race in Indy 500 history in 110 races. It has never been closer. David Malukas, absolutely devastated after losing that one. Malukas was just in our KMOX studios not a month ago, and he was talking to various media outlets about it, including Wish TV, and this is a little bit of that.
I feel like I'm mourning, and just a lot of shock. I still can't believe it, just being that close to winning the damn thing.
You just want to be there. You never know when you're going to be back, and Malukas and his Penske team will try to regroup after that. Felix Rosenqvist wins the Indianapolis 500. During all of that yesterday, the Cardinals were rained out in nearby Cincinnati. They were not able to play, so they end up splitting the series. It was all played in one day. The Cardinals were rained out on Friday. They split the series on Saturday and then ended up getting rained out yesterday. But through all of it, they gained a half game in the standings. They're only a game and a half out in the National League Central after the Brewers lost yesterday, and the Cubs also lost. Chicago's lost 8 in a row. They're now 2.5 out. Cardinals a game and a half out in second place all to themselves behind the Brewers, which sets up an outstanding schedule for this week. The Cardinals take on the Brewers and the Cubs. They'll play the Brewers today at 1:10 on KMOX. It's a 12:15 pregame. Matthew Liberatore against Jacob Mizorowski, as the Cardinals will send their team to American Family Field. The Cubs, meanwhile, will play the Pirates today on the road. That one starts at 12:35. The Cardinals play 3 in Milwaukee. They take the day off Thursday. We're going to have that big party at Anheuser-Busch with Ozzie Smith and Matt Adams, as well as Al Raboski. And then on Friday, they start a 3-game series against the Cubs at Busch Stadium. What a week this is going to be. What a day for the St. Louis Battlehawks. They won yesterday. They beat the Houston Gamblers 21-15 and clinch a playoff spot in doing so with that Week 9 victory. The Vegas Golden Knights won 5-3, came back from a 3-0 deficit. They take a 3-0 lead in their best-of-7 series with the Colorado Avalanche, and San Antonio even things up with Oklahoma City, beating the Thunder 103-82. Who's Hot, Who's Not? Sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens, making memories. St. Louis Composting. STLcompost.com. You can find at STLcompost.com a cubic yards calculator. What you do there, you put in the dimensions of where you want the mulch. They'll tell you how much you need. Boom, they'll deliver it to you. Or you can visit one of their 9 locations. You have a truck or trailer, back it right up. They'll fill you up and send you on your way. Yes, I said 9 different locations in the St. Louis area. You can find out the one nearest you at STLcompost.com for your home or business. Now, I had it delivered. I thought that was a great deal. So they brought it right to our house. We had the mulch spread, and it is fantastic. Still looks like we just had it put down. And it's great for the summer. You know how we can get those drought conditions sometimes during the summer. It holds the moisture quite well. STLcompost.com.
Hi, this is Congresswoman Ann Wagner from Missouri's 2nd District. I work every day to put more money in your pocket, secure the border, protect our shared Missouri values, and keep our communities safe. Whether it's visiting one of my public events in neighborhoods around the district or by contacting my office, I want to hear from you. If you need help with a federal agency, please contact me at wagner.house.gov.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Tarps Off Mania is sweeping Cardinals Nation. But before you take your shirt off, make sure it's a shirt worth taking off. Friday before Cards and Cubs at Busch, the DGS broadcasts live from patios starting at 3 p.m., counting down to first pitch. And Rally House will be on site with gear so good, you might actually want to keep your shirt on. It's your city. It's your house. It's Rally House with DGS live from patios Friday, May 29th. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 6:51, and taking a look at the forecast from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, today is going to be the best day of this 5-day forecast. There is no rain in this forecast, so if you are out and about at any number of Memorial Day observances this morning or into this afternoon, or just having a picnic or just hanging out, 81 degrees will be our high with sunshine and some clouds. That's it. And then we have the rain moving in. So a shower later in the afternoon tomorrow, high of 80, and then maybe a shower or thunderstorm around Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday. It is sunny now, 56 degrees downtown.
The news continues at 6:52. St. Louis County is looking inside its own department for its next police chief. The county's Board of Police Commissioners announced Friday it's inviting all 5 of its members of its executive command staff to apply for the job. The candidates are all lieutenant colonels. Acting Chief Juan Cox, along with Jason Law, who's running for St. Charles County Executive, Gerald Lohr, Norman Mann, and James Schneider.
Commission Chair Richard Banks says if the board doesn't find the right fit among the 5, it'll widen the search. The opening follows the retirement of Chief Kenneth Gregory at the end of April. Cox has been serving as acting chief since then. The commission meets again June 17th.
Ladue residents are just a few votes away from laying the foundation for the neighborhood's first apartment building.
A recent land use application in Ladue plans out a mixed-use development spanning just under 50 acres at the edge of the city. That's north of Old Warson on McKnight Road. To the west, developers plan to create 11 single-family home lots that could mesh with the existing neighborhood's look and feel. The northern portion would become a transitional housing option from Fisher Fritchel Homes, featuring villas and shared maintenance and streetscaping services. The southern portion of the site will be a mixed-use development, if approved, allowing for the creation of 235 ultra-luxury apartment residences and approximately 9,000 square feet of restaurant and retail space. Owner TV Acquisitions also says the development will include a surface lot and 400-stall parking garage. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
Screen time. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. The U.S. Surgeon General is reissuing an advisory that we've heard for years but is worth repeating. Spend less time in front of screens. Whether it's smartphones, computers, or television, the message is the same. Here's ABC News correspondent Sophie Flay.
According to that report, some children are spending more time on devices than they do sleeping or attending school. The Surgeon General calling the dangers of too much screen time an urgent public health issue. Surveys show most teens average 8 or more hours per day in front of screens. Experts say even toddlers are spending multiple hours a day in front of a screen, setting up potential mental health issues or poor developmental outcomes. The report recommends children younger than 18 months, no screen time. Under 6, less than 1 hour per day, and kids ages 6 to 18, 2 hours per day. The main message from this report: live real life, both at home and at school. Experts say parents should lead by example, creating regularly scheduled time without the screens.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
The school year is almost, well, it's over for most kids. How do we know what our children need over the summer to go back to school recharged and ready?
This is Megan Lynch. I asked Stephanie Mahfoud, Dean of Webster University's School of Education, whether kids need a lot of structured learning over the summer.
I view the summer months as a wonderful opportunity for children to explore in different ways things that they're passionate about, that they have interests in, and to really apply the learning that they've built over the school year in unique and interesting ways.
Mahfoud says some of that depends on your child. If they had absences during the school year or have special learning needs, they might benefit from academic programs with more structure. For others, special camps or programs might help them explore learning, or keeping their minds stimulated during the summer may be as simple as exploring nature, reading books, or going to interesting places in your community. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
It is 6:56, and the birthday shout-out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Remember, if you have a birthday or anniversary you'd like announced during this segment, email it to totalam@kmox.com, totalam@kmox.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Julie Bueller. Happy 30th to Joe Bruno of Baldwin from Babu and the Ornelas family. And happy 29th anniversary to Rachel and Chris McMahon of Fairview Heights.
This is the best birthday ever.
Well, what a time this is. Sports in full swing. I mean, you've been hearing me talk about hockey playoffs. You've been hearing me talk about basketball playoffs. We have baseball obviously going on. You've got golf. You got racing. There's so much happening right now, and Circus Sports is there for it all. Yes, Circus Sports. I'm so happy that Circus Sports came into my life. I'm really happy that Circus Sports is so easy to use. Circus Sports is very user-friendly. That's probably my favorite thing about it. It's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports. You just go to the Circus Sports app, or you go to circusports.com, and you're going to find yourself very, very happy. Circus Sports has been in Missouri now for a while, and we've been talking about them. I have, and I just couldn't be happier. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service. Again, download the Circus Sports app or visit circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Glover here from my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Lunch was great, but this traffic is awful.
Can we stop at a bathroom?
Are you all right?
I keep having stomach issues after eating, like diarrhea, gas and bloating, abdominal pain, and sometimes oily stools.
Sound familiar? Those stomach issues may actually be a pancreas issue called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Creon pancrelipase may help manage EPI. Creon is a prescription medicine used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. Call 800-633-9110 or visit creoninfo.com to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
I'm asking my doctor about EPI and if Creon could help.
It is 6:59. I'm Debbie Monterey, and these are the stories making news.
I'm Sean Malone. Keeping the pools safe won't be the only job the Sheriff's Department is taking away from the City Police Department this summer. I've got that story coming up.
I'm Tom Ackerman.
If you're running some errands this holiday, why it might be smart to skip Manchester Road. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A rather pleasant Memorial Day weather-wise with sunshine and some clouds, or high 81.
Joe, sounds like a great day to fire up the grill, turn on the radio, and listen to Cardinal baseball on KMOX. Cards and Brewers, the Cardinals are only a game and a half out of first. Sports at 7:15.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. The call this morning from Pope Leo.
Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed.
As he calls for more regulation around artificial intelligence, adding that developers should work for the common good instead of profit. The Pope also apologizing today for the role the Vatican played in legitimizing slavery and for failing to condemn it for centuries. President Trump said there's no rush to get to a deal with Iran amid hopes that one may be struck to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a point reiterated by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said the U.S. is going to give diplomacy every chance to succeed. This morning, the president pushed back on critics, saying this deal is, in his words, the exact opposite of the nuclear deal reached under President Obama. Tens of thousands still evacuated in Southern California, where crews are trying to fix a chemical tank that is in danger of exploding or leaking. This is ABC News. 2 people remained hospitalized over the weekend after they came into contact with a hazardous substance last Wednesday inside of a home in New Mexico.
The initial call was about a tragic but routine overdose.
Looks like we have 3 patients. 2 of them may not be breathing.
First responders themselves started feeling sick, and 25 people would eventually be hospitalized after exposure to an unknown substance. Now, says New Mexico State Police Chief Matt Broom.
Within the home, an on-scene DEA laboratory analysis has confirmed the presence of fentanyl, methamphetamine, and parafluorofentanyl.
3 people in the home died. Another is still hospitalized, as is a first responder. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Sunday was one of the biggest days of the year in auto racing, and Felix Rosenqvist won the closest finish in Indianapolis 500 history by 0.02 of a second. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch was mourned and honored at NASCAR's Coca-Cola 600 after the 41-year-old died last week. I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
It is 7:02. We have sunshine downtown, 59 degrees right now. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The Memorial Day ceremony at Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery starts at 10 o'clock this morning with a procession to the Old Flag Circle. The U.S. Air Force Bank of Mid-America from Scott Air Force Base will perform with the St. Louis Gateway Singers. The guest speaker will be Command Sergeant Major Douglas Childs.
The annual Memorial Day observance at Soldiers Memorial Military Museum downtown kicks off at 10 with a wreath-laying ceremony. Yellow carnations will be available for attendees to place at one of 5 outdoor memorials. There's also a new exhibition, Declaration 1776, The Big Bang of Modern Democracy.
There's an 11 o'clock ceremony in O'Fallon, Missouri at the Veterans Memorial Walk. O'Fallon, Illinois will have its ceremony at 11:30 at the Veterans Monument. The Memorial Day Parade in Belleville steps off from North 3rd and West A Street at 10. The St. Charles Memorial Gardens hosts a festival starting at noon and a ceremony at 2.
The city of St. Louis nearly couldn't open the pools this summer after the police department pulled the park rangers. The city's chief operating officer, Ben Johnson.
For at least 20 years, they are a constant presence to allow those lifeguards to focus on life-saving measures that we need our lifeguards doing.
However, it's a manpower issue, says Park Rangers Commander Sergeant Donnie Walters, who says they have too much to cover to procure security at the pools.
We have 100+ parks. If you go from Kena Plaza all the way to Aloe Plaza, which is right across the street from Union Station, all of those parks are the park rangers' responsibility.
Johnson says he's confident they can find an emergency contract by Tuesday, while Walters adds they can cover the pools again if they get more rangers.
Metrolink security in St. Louis City will soon be provided by someone other than the police.
Talks are underway for the St. Louis City Sheriff's Department to take on that role, according to Sheriff John Hayden. He shares how the manpower logistics will work.
The plan is to initially start off with some seasoned personnel over there and then, backfill them up with persons coming on.
Hayden says they are doing a good job of filling out their staff to budgeted strength, so they have the manpower to cover the Metrolink, transport detainees, and keep the courts safe. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The search for St. Louis County's next police chief is starting from within. The Board of Police Commissioners said Friday it'll ask all 5 of its top commanders to apply for the post, led by acting chief Juan Cox, who has run the department since Chief Kenneth Gregory retired April 13th. Commission Chair Richard Banks is confident, he says, that the next leader can come from within the department's own ranks, but if none of the 5 fits, the board will expand the search. A hire will need the support of at least 3 of 5 commissioners. The commission's next meeting is June 17th.
2 men are charged with murder for gunning down a food truck owner on a Sunday night in April. 25-year-old Dayon Hartfield and 32-year-old Todd Weems are both being held without bond. At about 6:30, April 19th, 1 man and 2 women were shot near a food truck in Ferguson. The man who owned the food truck died later at a hospital. Video showed the suspects driving towards Illinois, and police found their car on fire. Then they were caught on camera again, running from the burning car.
A St. Louis man will spend more than a decade in prison for his part in a deadly 2024 shooting.
48-year-old Glenn Bailey was sentenced to 15 years in prison Thursday after pleading guilty to charges of voluntary manslaughter in the shooting death of Amarnath Ghosh on February 27th of 2024. Bailey's sentencing follows an admission to driving to the intersection of Delmar Boulevard and Clarendon Avenue, that's where the shooting occurred, selling drugs in the area of the shooting, and driving gunmen to that area to shoot and kill Ghosh. The St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office says Bailey is already serving a 6-year federal prison sentence in connection with contraband recovered by investigators during this homicide investigation. He has prior convictions for robbery, assault, unlawful use of a weapon, and distribution of controlled substances. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
A new national study ranks Manchester Road in West County among the most passive-aggressive roads in America. Michael Calhoun tells us why.
The survey of more than 3,000 drivers focused on the small things, refusing to let people merge, closing the gap when someone signals, and blocking intersections. Manchester Road came in at number 16 nationwide. 2 other Missouri roads also made the list outside the St. Louis metro.
A federal judge's ruling will put thousands of local homes back on a real estate app. We get more from Andy Dane.
Zillow had been seeking a temporary restraining order against Lyle-based Midwest Real Estate Data, as well as broker Compass, which a judge has granted. That means around 40,000 listings will return to Zillow. At issue was private and pre-market listings, and whether MRED was putting those listings on Zillow. The company says in a statement the judge's order, quote, restores listing access in the middle of a housing affordability crisis. Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
By 4th of July is a Missouri nonprofit and hopes to move veterans into a new tiny home village in Union. Dan Menzie, president of Veterans Way, says construction on the 21 homes is almost complete.
They're 12 by 24. They'll be fully furnished, the veteran will be able to move in with just his clothing, basically. It's got a small kitchen in it, a bedroom and a living room and a TV.
Menzie says veterans will apply for housing assistance through the federal government. Megan Lynch talks with Menzie about the project this morning at 8:11.
From the KMOX business desk, some great news for Lambert International Airport this week. Senator Eric Schmidt and Congressman Wesley Bell say $30 million in federal funding is coming to St. Louis. That money is aimed at completing the consolidated terminal project, replacing aging infrastructure, and more.
Schmidt says the dollars will help drive economic growth and build a world-class transportation hub connecting our region for future generations. Bell calls the grant a huge win for the St. Louis region, saying the work doesn't stop here as he works to bring more resources and regional growth to his congressional district.
It is 7:08. We'll take a break and come back with a look at your forecast as we head into a brand new week. Stay with us here on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Aul and the team at the Aul Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, June 16th at the Aul Financial Group office. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress-tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The Aul Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
Spring and summer air should feel fresh, not full of dust, allergens, and whatever winter left behind in your vents. Your air ducts are the lungs of your home, and if they're dirty, they're breathing it in every day. That's where Zero Res comes in, backed by over thousands of Google reviews and a 4.9 rating. This month, only get a whole system air duct cleaned for just $599. That's cleaner air, better efficiency, and a fresher home guaranteed. 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com.
Road trip through America's musical past as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra teams up with the sensational Doo-Wop Project for a night of vintage soul and seamless harmonies. Experience the iconic sounds that shaped American music through the evolution of doo-wop, including favorites like Sherry and Walk Like a Man, along with doo-wopified renditions of modern hits and more. Buckle up for a feel-good celebration that brings generations together, featuring the Doo-Wop Project and your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Saturday, May 30th at Powell Hall. Tickets on sale now at slso.org.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with the latest on our weather, and it looks like a good one, Joe.
Today will be a nice day with sunshine and some clouds for Memorial Day. Our afternoon high 81. Increasing clouds tonight, though 62. Tomorrow mostly cloudy. Look for a shower later in the day. The high 80. For Wednesday, warm and more humid with clouds and some sun, along with a shower or thunderstorm, the high 82. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently a little cool when we walked out the door earlier this morning. Now that the sun is up, things are starting to warm. It's 60 in Florissant, 61 in St. Peter's, sunny and 60 downtown at the Arch.
Governor Mike Kehoe has set August 4th as the day that Missouri voters can vote on 4 changes to the Missouri Constitution. The headliner, Amendment 5, which would eliminate the state income tax in favor of higher and expanded sales taxes. That is a top priority for the governor, but one opponents say could drive up the cost of everyday goods and services.
Voters will also weigh Amendment 4, which could make it tougher to amend the Constitution. Also, a renewal of the sales tax for parks and conservation, and whether Jackson County should elect its tax assessor. A legal challenge over the income tax ballot language could reach a Cole County courtroom as early as next week.
Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth says military members are not being leveled with.
They trust that their civilian leadership will do right by them, that we're not going to send them into senseless wars, that we're going to actually have a plan, that we're going to know what the mission is, that we're going to know what the end state is, and we're going to bring them home.
Duckworth adds the Trump administration has done none of these things and is adding insult to injury. The administration is trying to fire 83,000 workers from the VA so that when troops do come home, she says, they will not get access to the services they deserve.
Really controlling this outbreak is critically important. And for that, we need a lot of contact tracing, a lot of isolation, quarantine, and we need support for those affected.
That is Dr. Carlos Del Rio, an epidemiologist and chair of medicine at Emory University School of Medicine, talking about his concerns with Ebola. There are growing cases in Central Africa, and there are growing concerns within the FIFA World Cup 26 games coming to the U.S., including a friendly here in St. Louis.
And unfortunately, it's compromised by many things, but among many times is the collapse and the closure of USAID at the beginning of this administration, because USAID really had a lot of boots on the ground that could do something at this point in time.
Some U.S. airports have started screening, but Dr. Del Rio tells CNN there's very big concerns with the World Cup here.
Ebola is in Africa, is not going to cause a pandemic, is not going to cause an epidemic, but cases could certainly happen in our country simply because we're one plane or flight away.
Del Rio says people from all over the world, including right here in St. Louis, and they could be infected with Ebola in one of the stadiums, and that could spread the virus. And this strain has no known cure. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Madison County will be home to a new fast casual poke bowl stop from a former Cardinals pitcher.
New owners Kyle Weeder and Matt Schmidt will hold a grand opening for the 10th franchise of Cohibito Poke, a fast casual restaurant chain from former MLB pitcher, co-founder, and CEO Todd Stottlemyre. Stottlemyre says the business has already brought in some patrons for a soft opening on April 30th. That's ahead of the June 26th grand opening weekend. The spot will feature sushi-grade fish, tofu, chicken, and more, offering 22 seats and an open visibility design at its 1,400-square-foot location in Edwardsville. Stottlemyre says the location will represent an important first step in the Metro East as the business continues expanding across the country. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney, and a very happy Memorial Day to you. We hope it's a great time with your family and friends and a very safe day, and we hope you'll enjoy Cardinal baseball coming up later today at Milwaukee. Jacob Misiorowski, the flamethrower, will start against lefty Matthew Liberatore, and we're going to be on the air at 12:15 Central Time. First pitch thrown by Misiorowski around 1:10. And it's going to be a big series for the Cardinals against the division leaders, but a rain out yesterday, Ricky. It makes for a 5-game series in August, with yesterday's game being made up as part of a day-night doubleheader on August 17th.
So we missed the Major League debut of Bryson Motts, at least yesterday, but we've got Cardinal baseball for you today. The Brewers and the Cardinals, doesn't get any better than that, and the Cardinals are right in the middle of a streak of games where they play a lot of Central Division games, and we're looking forward to baseball today.
Coming up today from Milwaukee.
Gentlemen, thank you. Cut of the game sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. In that series, all in one day, the split doubleheader with the Reds. There's no doubt about it. This was the highlight.
Deep in the batter's box, the pitch. A swing, and there's a drive. That's hit deep to right field. Back to the track, the wall, and it is gone! The first Major League home run for Brian Torres. And a 2-hit game in his Major League debut, 8-1 Cardinals. And that Cardinal dugout is going wild for Torres. Wynn scores ahead of him. Torres touches the plate. He's congratulated, hugged by Prieto, Mason Wynn. And he'll get the receiving line when he goes down the steps of the Cardinal dugout on the third base side. How about that?
Brian Torres spent 11 years in the minor leagues, 11, before making his Major League debut on Saturday against the Reds. All he did was register 3 hits, including that home run. He caught the attention of President of Baseball Operations Chaim Bloom and his crew.
Oh, man. I mean, for sure. Look, it's always that cliche of never give up, make him rip the uniform off of you. Usually you could say that, and usually the game being what it is and how hard it is to get to the big leagues, usually those stories don't end the way this one did, which is part of what makes it so special. Of course, for him, it is not the end. We hope this is just the beginning of a very fruitful big league career, but just to get to this point after everything that he's been through, and for those, you've probably been talking about it this morning, but for those who don't know, there's been some good stuff in our media on his way to this point about everything he went through to get there. It's just phenomenal.
It really is. The Cardinals split that series with the Reds all in one day. They won the first game with the Torres home run capping an 8-1 win. They lost the second one 7-6 in 11 innings. As John and Ricky told you, they rained out yesterday. Through all of that, they picked up ground in the NL Central. They're only a game and a half out in the division. They're a game clear of the Cubs. Chicago has lost 8 in a row, and the Cardinals are a game and a half behind the Brewers entering today's game. Again, a 1:10 start, 12:15 pregame here on KMOX. Felix Rosenqvist wins the Indianapolis 500, closest finish ever. A half car length in front of David Malukas, who just spent time here in the KMOX studios recently, spent time in our sports office promoting the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. We'll hear Malukas and his tearful address to Fox yesterday after losing that race in gut-wrenching fashion, but a win for Felix Rosenqvist nonetheless. San Antonio beat Oklahoma City 103-82 to even that series at 2 apiece. Vegas beat Colorado in the Stanley Cup playoffs 5-3. They take a 3-0 series lead, and the St. Louis Battlehawks have earned a playoff spot. They beat the Houston Gamblers yesterday. Final score was 21-15, and with that, they are in the postseason. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Get everything you need for the entire job delivered. From lumber to drywall, flooring, and fixtures, get it all delivered from the Home Depot. With same day, next day, or any day delivery. Staying on track and on time is crucial to your job. That's why it's our job to get you what you need when you need it. We deliver the supplies. You deliver the results. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
Well, this is a great day to crack open an ice-cold Budweiser. Budweiser is the king of beers. Budweiser, this Bud's for you. For the last 150 years, this Bud's for you. Budweiser is celebrating 150 years. So is baseball, by the way. Budweiser is the official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball, if you didn't know that by now. Also, they are presenting these patriotic cans, which are so cool. You have America at the top of the can since 1776. Instead of that normal Budweiser description, it says the United States of America on the can. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This Bud's for you, by the people, for the people, for 150 years. It's such a cool piece of memorabilia, although I would crack it open and drink it. Budweiser is ice cold, it's delicious, it is fresh, and it's made right here in St. Louis. Crack open an ice cold Bud this Memorial Day. Get your patriotic merch. There's more than just the patriotic cans. It's all at Budweiser.com. Look at that cool Bud t-shirt. Budweiser, the king of beers for 150 years. This Bud's for you.
Don't miss the final home game of the season. Your St. Louis Battlehawks take on the Dallas Renegades Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. at the Dome. It's Battlehawks Kids Day. Plus, fans can score an Archie bobblehead while supplies last. Tickets start at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com. Caw-caw.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:21, and taking a look at that forecast from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's going to be a beautiful day today with sunshine and some clouds and a high of 81 degrees. This is the nicest day of the 5-day forecast because it includes no rain. So there is a chance of rain or a thunderstorm for the next few days all the way into the weekend. Increasing clouds tonight and a shower later in the afternoon tomorrow, high of 80, otherwise mostly cloudy. Shower or thunderstorm around on Wednesday with a high of 82. Right now, it is sunny in downtown St. Louis and 59 degrees.
It's 722. Yesterday on Sports on a Sunday Morning, we took a call from U.S. Senator Eric Schmitt, not discussing politics, discussing something that everyone would agree on. College sports has an issue. NIL has created a problem within the sport, most notably college football. Here's Senator Schmitt.
Oh, man. I mean, for sure. Look,
that is Hein Blum. Here is Senator Schmitt yesterday on the same show, Sports on a Sunday Morning.
It has allowed programs, college football, for example, here, for the Indianas, the Mizzous, the Ole Misses to sort of rise up and take on the blue blood programs because they have more opportunities to compete for more players. However, the system now, the pendulum has swung. It's very chaotic and not really sustainable. I mean, the business model effectively for college sports has been that the college football programs generate the revenue and can subsidize all the non-revenue sports, the women's sports, the Olympic sports. Well, if you're losing money in your college football program, I mean, Rutgers is an example, Penn State is an example recently, all of a sudden there's a big concern that we won't have those same opportunities for those student athletes. It will affect our performance in the Olympics. Baseball is a non-revenue sport. Of course, women's sports and Title IX implications. And so I think the kind of the trajectory of all this, Tom, is that if you would have asked me 2 years ago or 3 years ago, does Congress or the federal government have any role in college sports, I would have said been very, very skeptical. But the truth is, because of all the litigation that's happened, Tom, over the last decade, there is no governing body that can make any rules. The NCAA doesn't have the ability to make any rules on transfer, on eligibility, for example. There's a lot of nefarious agents in the marketplace taking advantage of players. And so Congress is the only entity on the planet that can grant that antitrust exemption for the NCAA or some other governing body to create those rules that can stick, like you can transfer once or twice. You got 5 years of eligibility. Right now, none of that stuff exists. And so it's really kind of created a lot of chaos. And there's also a revenue piece to this. One other point is that NBA, NFL, MLB can all in a unified way negotiate with rights holders for the broadcast of their games. College football can't do that because they don't have the antitrust exemption. So one of the things I'm working on, is allow college football to go do that. In one stat, the NBA has half the audience of college football and twice the revenue, about $8 billion. College football has, outside of the NFL, the most eyeballs on it every week. It generates about $4 billion all in. So if you can negotiate collectively in a unified rights deal, the amount of money that college football could generate then would be staggering, and then support those women's and Olympic sports. So there's a solution here. We're working on it, but ultimately as a fan, more than anything else, you want to make sure that you've got the ability to watch these games and that programs can thrive. You're protecting women's sports, and you have some rules that can stick.
Something that you said in there really concerns me, actually, and I was going to bring it up, and you already said it, is nefarious agents. I mean, there are so many people involved in this. People have no idea. I mean, not technically, but couldn't Drew, our producer, or me for that matter, just say we're an agent? I mean, I could just go get a player and say, I'm his agent. So, and then play a school against each other.
That happens. And there's examples of, players leaving because you've just got a friend or a hanger-on or something that purports to be the representative. And then the student athlete, I should say, enters the transfer portal in a worse situation than in a lesser program with less money. Now that quote-unquote agent has made his cut, right? He's made his cut. So there's a churning that's happening, and a lot of these student athletes are being taken advantage of. So part of this legislation potentially would be that, you have more of a vetting, you have standard contracts. You can't have these actors that are taking advantage of the student athletes. And so I'm optimistic. I actually think this is one thing that's bipartisan. I filed a bill with Maria Cantwell from Washington. I mean, she's seen the instance of Washington State and kind of the musical chairs and what happens with conference realignment. And I love the SEC. I love SEC football. It's going to continue to thrive. But I do think we have to have a broader view of college athletics altogether and how can we make sure that you still have these options for student athletes. But, it's crazy how the pendulum, in my view, was on the other end for too long. Student athletes couldn't leave. If a coach left, they were being denied any kind of compensation. I don't have a problem with a student athlete getting paid. I don't have a problem with transfer The problem is now nobody can say what those rules are because they don't have that antitrust exemption that only Congress can provide.
U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt on Sports on a Sunday Morning also said that he recently got together with Chris May at St. Louis University and head basketball coach Josh Schertz, and he is making a push to put SLU in the Big East. You can hear that full interview at KMOX.com. Sports on a Sunday Morning. It's 7:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Might be a good thing if you're getting together with your family today for that outdoor cookout or whatever to talk about next steps for your loved one who needs a little extra help around the house. I know if you've been calling and online trying to find at-home care, you know it's in short supply, and you should know about Freedom Care. Get ready to write down a phone number because you'll want to call Freedom Care where you can get paid to care for a loved one. Freedom Care has more than 160,000 families being served, 97% satisfaction rate. Through Medicaid, Freedom Care allows your family to choose a friend or a relative as the caregiver. So no rotating strangers, no constantly trying to find new people, no long wait lists. It's 100% free to you. Freedom Care will handle the paperwork and the payroll and the support so caregivers can just focus on caring for your loved one. If you're already caring for someone with Medicaid or you're ready to help or find out more, call Freedom Care, 314-947-5139. That's 314-947-5139 for Freedom Care.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. And I do like to brag that it's been my official sportsbook longer than it has been for the station. The station only goes back to the beginning of this year, and I go back, I don't know, at least 7 or 8 years, but I had to travel before to use it, and now I get to play at home. And right now, I'm playing along at home with the NBA playoffs because FanDuel is giving me better payouts on same-game parlays. You get the same benefit. So more ways to build and more value every time you play. You can stack your picks your way for every single game, every matchup, and every moment, whether it's spreads, player points, threes, whatever. You can build it all into one same-game parlay and go for the bigger payout. So if you're getting same-game parlays in your line to go, then this NBA postseason, you want to be doing that on FanDuel. It's more options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. Just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started. And remember, FanDuel is an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. Also remember that you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Really nice day today. It's sunny and 61 degrees downtown at the Arch at 7:30. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Debbie Monterey. Looking at that forecast for today, whatever you are planning to do, if it involves the outdoors, you should be just fine. 81 degrees will be our high with sunshine and a few clouds, and that's it. No mention of rain in the forecast for today, but then the next chance of rain maybe later tomorrow afternoon with a high of 80, 82 on Wednesday with a shower or thunderstorm, and then there's a chance of a shower or thunderstorm around Thursday and Friday as well. It's 60 degrees now with sunshine downtown.
The Memorial Day ceremony at Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery starts at 10 o'clock with a procession to the Old Flag Circle. The U.S. Air Force Bank of Mid-America from Scott Air Force Base will perform with the St. Louis Gateway Singers. The guest speaker will be Command Sergeant Major Douglas Childs.
The annual Memorial Day observance at Soldiers Memorial Military Museum in downtown St. Louis kicks off at 10 with a wreath-laying ceremony. Yellow carnations available for attendees to place at one of 5 outdoor memorials. Also, a new exhibition, Declaration 1776, the Big Bang of Modern Democracy.
There's an 11 o'clock ceremony in O'Fallon, Missouri at the Veterans Memorial Walk. O'Fallon, Illinois will have its ceremony at 11:30 at the Veterans Monument. The Memorial Day Parade in Belleville steps off from North 3rd and West A Street at 10. The St. Charles Memorial Gardens hosts a festival starting at noon and a ceremony at 2.
St. Louis City almost wasn't able to open public pools for this summer after the police department pulled their security detail due to having fewer park rangers available this year. The city's chief operating officer, Ben Johnson, says they were able to save the holiday weekend after a late-night phone call to another department.
Late-night phone call to Sheriff Hayden and said, hey, we're going to have to close our pools. Is there any chance that you can help us out here? At least give us some temporary staffing with your deputies.
Commander of the Park Rangers, Sergeant Donnie Walters, says they lack the manpower this summer to secure those pools.
On an average, from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., I may have a total of 6 rangers to cover the entire city.
Walters adds the mayor's staff gave them the choice between securing pools and other parks and events across the city.
We're watching on our partners Fox 2, placing American flags in the lawn outside the Soldiers Memorial Military Museum. It's 7:33. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
Just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
It is 7:35. Thanks for tuning in to the Memorial Day version of Total Information AM. Let's get you your Money Minute from Bloomberg. It is sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The most recent measures of the collective U.S. consumer mood have shown gloom, with last Friday's University of Michigan sentiment measure falling to a nearly half-century low amid rising inflation angst. Today we get the Conference Board snapshot of U.S. consumer confidence, also for this month. Like the Michigan measure, it is expected to be down, but because the methodology is different, with greater weight given to assessments of jobs and income prospects, that decline likely will be smaller. The launch of the Iran war back on the last day of February delivered an economic shock, which combined with factors such as high mortgage rates, pulled on the U.S. housing market. Today we get the measure of average home transaction prices from S&P Totality Case Shiller, with year-on-year price growth likely decelerating in March. Fewer potential buyers visiting model homes this spring suggests that the pace of new home sales likely slowed in April. We find out about that later in the week. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
Since we opened our doors in 1868, Busey has fostered deep customer relationships and vibrant communities, embodying a legacy of partnership and progress. With multiple lines of business, we provide a range of financial solutions tailored to your needs. From digital banking to planning for retirement, Busey is here to help you achieve your financial goals. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
At Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Tom Ackerman here. Let me tell you about McKelvey Homes. McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Missouri. It's called Strawberry Farms. The first foundations are in, the display home is opening, and you're going to love Strawberry Farms. Walking trails, a lake, a berry patch honoring the land's history as Strawberry Fields, Strawberry Farms, a private playground, Fort Zumwalt schools nearby, fresh start, great location, Strawberry Farms. Jim Brennan is the president of McKelvey Homes. I've worked with Jim long enough to know when McKelvey builds something, they do it right. The name is McKelvey Homes. They go back to 1898. They are Missouri's oldest home builder, and they are the best. Schedule a tour by going to McKelveyHomes.com. You can actually see pictures of Strawberry Farms there as well. McKelveyHomes.com. Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon, Missouri, among the many communities built by McKelvey Homes. Go to McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The financial industry is getting rich on baby boomers. Don't be their next victim. Find out the truth of what's really going on in the retirement industry. Join Greg Ayler Saturdays at 1 on Fire Your Financial Advisor.
Anheuser-Busch Brewery Experiences invites you to step up to the plate for an unforgettable happy hour at the Beer Garden on Thursday, May 28th. Join me, Tom Ackerman, and a panel of legendary Cardinals, including Ozzie Smith, Al Raboski, and Matt Adams for the Redbird Roundtable. Kick off baseball's big weekend with ice-cold beer and unforgettable fan experiences. Behind-the-scenes stories, legendary moments during a live panel discussion. See you at the Beer Garden May 28th, BudweiserTours.com.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Mixed signals about the prospects of a deal to end the war with Iran. It is 7:39. President Trump now says he's in no rush to reach a deal with Iran. Over the weekend, he said a solution was largely negotiated. This morning, a spokesman for Iran's foreign ministry echoing that, saying many of the issues have been dealt with, but that doesn't mean a signed agreement is imminent.
Saturday's White House shooting came less than a month after the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It also comes less than 3 weeks after officers shot a man near the Washington Monument after they say he opened fire on a Secret Service officer. The suspect was killed by police at the scene. President Trump is using this latest incident to argue his controversial White House ballroom is necessary.
Controversy surrounding the enhanced games held this weekend in Las Vegas. While with events like the Olympics going to great lengths to ensure performance-enhancing drugs aren't used, the enhanced games encourages them. According to a new survey of most of the athletes, 91% use testosterone, 79% human growth hormone, 29% using anabolic steroids. President of World Athletics says no one within athletics takes the enhanced games seriously. Medical professionals warn many serious long-term health risks posed by PEDs.
We do have a crash. It is on 70 westbound to Kings Highway. All lanes are closed at this time. Again, that's westbound I-70 to Kings Highway. All lanes are closed. The left exit, the right exit, all shoulders. Use an alternate route. That is just in from the next hour. It's 7:41.
Let's get you a check of the forecast as we are here on a holiday, Memorial Day. Lots of things going on all over the region. Memorial Day-wise and otherwise, maybe just kicking back and doing some gardening. Who knows? But Joe Lundberg is joining us right now to tell us that today is going to be really nice, right, Joe?
It is indeed, Debbie. In fact, one thing you don't have to worry about weather-wise, rain. There's not going to be any of that this afternoon. Just sunshine filtered through some of these high clouds, and we'll get to about 81. Now, clouds will increase tonight, those 62. And from those clouds tomorrow, there is a risk for a shower later in the day, the high about 80. Unfortunately, the weather for the rest of the week will have some sort of an unsettled characteristic to it. Warm, kind of humid on Wednesday with clouds and sun and Spotty shower or thunderstorm, the high 82. Warm but humid Thursday with changeable skies and the chance for a thunderstorm in the afternoon, the high 83. And we'll probably wrap up the work week with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the offing for Friday, the high about 77. It's up to 63 at St. Peter's, 64 in Florissant, partly sunny, 63 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It's 7:42, sports in 3 minutes. The World Health Organization says Ebola is rapidly spreading in African countries with 3 new confirmed cases in Uganda. There will be some screening in a few U.S. airports for travelers coming from African countries.
Infectious disease specialist and epidemiologist Dr. Celine Gonder says the United States is pulled out of the World Health Organization.
We did so when we still owed over $300 million in dues. So they are they're strapped in terms of resources to help respond, but they are not the boots on the ground response. And in fact, USAID was a huge part of the boots on the ground response, which in particular includes contact tracing. So identifying who was exposed on the ground in country and monitoring them for symptoms and getting them prompt treatment if they develop symptoms of Ebola.
But Gonder tells CNN that means right now there is no contact tracing capability.
And currently, healthcare workers have only followed up on about 20% of the identified contacts, which means the spread is accelerating and we're not able to reach these folks.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson will meet with Pope Leo this week as the mayor embarks on a trip to Rome and Vatican City.
Mayor Johnson was at a very crowded Peaches restaurant at 47th and King Drive, getting the blessing of supporters before his trip to meet Chicago's own Pope Leo XIV.
Tell me about what's going to happen in this meeting with the Pope. Historic, sir.
It really is. We're really grateful that Pope Leo has his roots right here in Chicago. Chicago has been, the epicenter for justice. And, I'm going to make sure I use this opportunity to lift up, of course, the work that he is doing, exposing the catastrophes and the evils of the world while also bringing hope to the world.
Will you be inviting him to Chicago?
Well, his invitation to Chicago is open, and of course, we're going to invite him.
Terry Keshner, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The Indianapolis 500, the 110th edition, run yesterday in Indy, and it went to Felix Rosenqvist by the slimmest of margins. He beat David Malukas by a half car length. There was a restart on the final lap. Marcus Armstrong was passed by Malukas, who was in that fast Penske car. He took the lead, but Rosenqvist in the final moment was able to zip past him by half a car length, and the Swede is the third Swede to win the Indy 500 in its 110-year history. Malukas, the American, was just here at KMOX recently doing an interview to promote the Bomarito Automotive Group 500 next month. And devastated in the arms of his parents, he spoke to Fox's Georgia Henneberry, who's a St. Louis native, in this emotional interview.
Running through the veins of David Malukas, a hug from his father. Just inches away from victory here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And now a word from Marco Andretti. David, just inches away. Take me through the last lap.
Yeah, I don't know what else. I don't know what else we could have done. We were the fastest car that whole race. I don't know. I gave it 150%. I almost crashed this damn car every lap. And we still ended up with the P2, man. I can't believe it. I don't know what else I can give, so.
You can hear the crowd roaring for Malukas. He, I assure you, gained a lot of fans yesterday after losing that one by a half car length. The Indy 500 goes to Felix Rosenqvist. It was a tremendous race. The Cardinals were rained out yesterday in nearby Cincinnati. They end up splitting their series with the Reds. They won the first game on Saturday, lost the second game. Didn't play Friday, didn't play Sunday. So they split. Through all of it, the Cardinals end up gaining ground in the National League Central. They're only a game and a half out of first, and they have second place all to themselves. That's because the Brewers have lost back-to-back games. They're in first. And the Cubs, who have dropped to third, 2.5 out, have lost 8 in a row. The Cardinals play the Brewers today. In fact, they play the Brewers for 3. Then the day off Thursday for our event at Anheuser-Busch. We're near a sellout for that, by the way. And then the weekend against the Cubs at Busch Stadium. Cardinals and Brewers in Milwaukee today. It's a 1:10 start. We'll have the pregame for you at 12:15. This is going to be a dandy of a matchup. It's Matthew Liberatore pitching for St. Louis. He is currently the Cardinals' #1 starter, 2-2 with a 4.70 ERA. He's taking on Jacob Misiorowski. Miz is baseball's sensation right now. He's 4-2 with a 1.89 ERA, but he has a staggering 88 strikeouts in 57 innings. The Cardinals will take their shots at him today, a 1:10 first pitch for Miz. Taking a look at the Stanley Cup playoffs, it was a win for the Vegas Golden Knights. They were down 3-0 in the first period, came back, won the game 5-3. They go up 3-0 on the heavily favored Colorado Avalanche. In the NBA, San Antonio beat Oklahoma City 103-82. That series is even at 2 games apiece. The St. Louis Battlehawks won. They beat the Houston Gamblers. Final score was 21-15. And with that, the Battlehawks have made the postseason. They clinch a playoff spot in Week 9. It's time for our parlay of the day. It's sponsored by Circa Sports, sports betting the way it should be. I don't know how many times I've told you, but I'm going to tell you one more time. The New York Knicks are going to win the NBA title. Okay? So I told you that last week, that they were going to overwhelm the Cleveland Cavaliers. At that point, I believe they were a plus 540 to win the title. Now, those odds have dropped significantly, but there's still time. And in my parlay of the day is Knicks -2.5 at Cleveland. I don't care that Cleveland's down 0-3, backs against the wall, all that stuff. I think the Knicks will cover that 2.5. And furthermore, I believe the Knicks are going to win the NBA title. And at last check, that was a plus 325 if you wanted to get in on that. So good luck with that. That is our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports, sports betting the way it should be.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circa Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circasports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circa Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Is your home showing symptoms of foundation issues? Your home's wet basement, dingy crawl space, musty smells, cracked walls, or unlevel concrete shouldn't be ignored. Helitech can help. Life happens in your home. You and your family deserve the best. Helitech offers proven solutions in waterproofing, drainage, concrete leveling, and foundation repair services. Contact us for a free inspection at helitechonline.com.
When the water's high, we'll keep your basement dry. Heal your home with Helitech.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Cards and Cubs, the rivalry returns to Busch Stadium May 29th, and we are kicking off the weekend early. I'm Tom Ackerman. Join me for a Redbird Roundtable featuring Ozzie Smith, Al Raboski, and Matt Adams, Thursday, May 28th at the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch Brewery. We're talking ball, enjoying a cold beer, and celebrating one of baseball's best rivalries. The doors open at 4:30. The Redbird Roundtable, Thursday, May 28th, a free event. Must be 21 or older to attend. Full details at KMOX.com.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now the news at 1 The Fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:52, and Roger Brand has the day off today, as do most of you. There are few cars on the road to speak of. I don't see any issues that should really concern you. However, there is weather, also not very concerning today, but storms the rest of the week, possibly. Today's just going to be sunny with some clouds and a high of 81 degrees, a possibility of a shower over the afternoon tomorrow, and then showers and storms Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's 60 degrees out there right now.
News continues at 7:52. Ladue officials will begin voting on the neighborhood's first apartment building.
TV Acquisitions is proposing a new apartment building at the Rock Hill Quarries landfill on South McKnight Road at the very southeast corner of Ladue. The plan would create Ladue's first apartment building. The city mostly has single-family homes and office and retail spaces, not apartment complexes. As drafted, this apartment would be a 5-story building, 235 apartments, 573 parking spaces, and retail space. If approved, it would also be the second time in recent years that a city in St. Louis County brought in its first apartment complex. The development also includes 11 single-family custom home lots that developers say will provide privacy, high-quality architecture, and seamless integration with the existing neighborhood. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
Webster University is deepening its reach around the world. We get more from KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
The St. Louis County-based school has signed a 10-year extension of its partnership with Uzbekistan's Ministry of Higher Education. Webster's campus in the capital city of Tashkent has become what its president calls the crown jewel of the university's global operations, growing 70% in just the past 2 years to move past 6,800 students. Under the deal, a new state-of-the-art campus built for 10,000 students will open by 2027.
Illinois students would learn CPR on both male and female mannequins under a bill recently passed by lawmakers.
The measure allows schools to either buy new female CPR mannequins or use the mannequins they already have and put on lower-cost chest covers. State Representative Mara Hirschauer introduced the bill after a Naperville student noticed none of the mannequins she was practicing on had breasts. According to the Journal of the American Heart Association, women are 27% less likely to receive CPR from a bystander because of concerns of inappropriate touching. Haley Hansen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
How much should you worry about learning loss in your children over the summer months?
Stephanie Mahfood, Dean of Webster University School of Education, says kids can keep learning in the summer without it feeling like classwork.
Personal projects, working in the garden, going hiking, participating, having some kind of goal for reading books, accessing a lot of our community resources out in the St. Louis area and beyond.
Mahfood says it's helpful to maintain some type of daily routine over the summer, but it doesn't have to be as strict as during the school year. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Screen time. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. The U.S. Surgeon General is reissuing an advisory that we've heard for years but is worth repeating. Spend less time in front of screens. Whether it's smartphones, computers, or television, the message is the same. Here's ABC News correspondent Sophie Flay.
According to that report, some children are spending more time on devices than they do sleeping or attending school. The Surgeon General calling the dangers of too much screen time an urgent public health issue. Surveys show most teens average 8 or more hours per day in front of screens. Experts say even toddlers are spending multiple hours a day in front of a screen, setting up potential mental health issues or poor developmental outcomes. The report recommends children younger than 18 months, no screen time. Under 6, less than 1 hour per day, and kids ages 6 to 18, 2 hours per day. The main message from this report, live real life, both at home and at school. Experts say parents should lead by example, creating regularly scheduled time without the screens.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
St. Louis County Animal Care and Control waiving all adoption fees for large dogs this holiday weekend. That's going on through tomorrow. The shelter is facing an overcrowding crisis with more than 100 dogs, make that 170 dogs. County Health Director Dr. Kanika Cunningham says they've been over capacity for weeks now. So if you would like a large dog to join your family, adoption fees waive through tomorrow at the shelter on Bauer Boulevard. They're open from 10 to 4 today and tomorrow.
It's 7:56.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The Missouri Athletic Club pool is open Memorial Day weekend. It opened on Saturday. Great time. I'm sure it'll be filled today with people having a good time and so much happening at the MAC. This is the MAC West. The pool there is a great spot. They have outstanding food and drink. They have an outdoor bar. They have indoor bars. They have great areas for the kids. They have new chairs they just put in last year. It's such an awesome place to kick off the summer and to spend your summer months. It's the Missouri Athletic Club pool. We love it for our members and guests. They do a really, really good job there. They make you feel, very special. They greet you when you walk in. They do this in all of their locations. Downtown is an awesome spot. They've done amazing work there through the years. The Missouri Athletic Club at 405 Washington Avenue. And then there's the MAC Clayton, the new kid on the block. And man, oh man, what a showcase that is. 14th and 15th floors of the Pierre Laclede Center. They've opened that up to our members and guests, and they jumped on that opportunity right away. We also have golf reciprocals throughout the area. It really is a nice situation for us. You can book an event at the MAC. You don't have to be a member. You can be part of what we do by booking an event, mac-stl.org.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case, Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Working hard but still falling behind? Learn how real estate investing can help you build income and move forward with purpose. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Chrysalis Biosciences in Sauget, Illinois is hiring for multiple roles. Join a fast-growing ethanol plant transforming renewable energy with competitive pay, benefits, and growth opportunities. Apply today and grow your career with Chrysalis at chrysalisbio.com.
Megan Lynch is coming up on Total Information AM with Debbie Monterey. I'm Tom Ackerman. Thank you for joining us. Please have a very safe Memorial Day. It's 8 o'clock.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. President Trump this morning says the deal being negotiated with Iran is what he calls the exact opposite of the deal struck under the Obama administration. Hopes that the Strait of Hormuz might reopen soon sent oil prices sliding this morning. The Trump administration's pointing to the weekend gunfire near the White House as more proof that the new ballroom is needed. The Department of Justice calls the shooting another attempt on the life of the president. Pope Leo this morning calling for AI to be disarmed.
I hear very troubling accounts of algorithms that can block access to health care, employment, and security on the basis of data tainted by prejudice and injustice.
Pope also calling for far more regulation of AI. Thousands of people still under evacuation orders in Southern California as crews try to stave off a potential leak or explosion in a damaged chemical storage tank. This is ABC News. The hardest lesson at Glendale Community College in suburban Phoenix came on the final day of the spring semester. ABC's Jim Ryan says it wasn't learned by the students, but by the college's administrators.
As proud graduates walked the stage to accept their diplomas,
India Hall.
Everything went smoothly until
Azucena de Mesa Jimenez.
Some students' names were omitted.
Grace Marie Reimer.
The problem?
We're using a new AI system as our reader.
Glendale Community College President Tiffany Hernandez.
That is a lesson learned for us.
AI is being used increasingly by colleges and high schools to ensure proper pronunciation of graduates' names. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
In front of more than 300,000 people, Felix Rosenqvist won the closest finish in Indianapolis 500 history by 0.02 of a second. He said after the race,
"That's the way I've always pictured it in my head for some reason."
I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 60 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, May 25th, Memorial Day. I'm Megan Lynch. The Memorial Day ceremony at Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery opens at 10 o'clock this morning with a procession to the Old Flag Circle. The U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America from Scott Air Force Base will perform with the St. Louis Gateway Singers. The guest speaker will be Command Sergeant Major Douglas Chillis. The annual Memorial Day observance at Soldiers Memorial Military Museum in downtown St. Louis also kicks off at 10 with a wreath-laying ceremony. Yellow carnations will be available for attendees to place at one of 5 outdoor memorials. There's also a new exhibition, Declaration 1776, the Big Bang of Modern Democracy. And an 11 o'clock ceremony this morning in O'Fallon, Missouri at the Veterans Memorial Walk. O'Fallon, Illinois will have their ceremony at 11:30 at their Veterans Monument. The Memorial Day Parade in Belleville steps off from North 3rd and West A Street at 10 this morning. St. Charles Memorial Gardens hosts a festival starting at noon and a ceremony at 2, and St. Charles County holding a ceremony at 1 o'clock. Sheriff's deputies will be patrolling St. Louis City's public pools this weekend after the state-controlled police department said it lacked the park rangers this summer. KMOX asked Mayor Spencer's chief operating officer, Ben Johnson, if he's confident they can find an emergency contract by Tuesday. He raised a question.
I'm confident we can do that. The real question here is who pays for it. When we have those shortages, it's that department budget that pays for some kind of a service, contracted service gap fill.
Police spokesman Mitch McCoy was vague when asked if the department would pick up the tab.
If the Board of Police Commissioners believes that it's something that should be on us, then the Board of Police Commissioners will foot that bill.
Park Rangers Commander Sergeant Donnie Walters says they only have the staff for 6 park rangers to be on patrol during the hours the pool operates and chose to prioritize other parks and events. The pools aren't the only new duties the Sheriff's Department will cover for the City Police Department.
They will also be providing security for the Metrolink stations. After previous Sheriff Alfred Montgomery said he couldn't do the required job of transporting detainees and keeping the courts safe, I asked Sheriff John Hayden how he's able to handle this new responsibility. He says they've been able to fill out vacant positions.
We're making progress with a lot of job fairs. We're attending a lot of job fairs and doing a lot of recruitment, and so it's our belief that we'll be able to have that back that up without a problem of loss.
Hayden says negotiations are still ongoing regarding details. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It's now 8:05. Manchester Road makes a list many area commuters might relate to. Michael Calhoun has more.
A study of more than 3,000 drivers named the West St. Louis County Corridor one of the most passive-aggressive roads in the country, ranking it 16th nationwide. Researchers pointed to behaviors like blocking plaza exits, inching into intersections, and refusing to let other drivers in. 2 other Missouri roads outside of our area made the list as well.
The journey to the FIFA World Cup 26 starts at Energizer Park in downtown St. Louis next month. People are expected from all over the world. An epidemiologist is talking with CNN about his concerns.
And that has some expressing concerns. With the epicenter of Ebola being in the Democratic Republic of Congo, cases have spread to neighboring countries in Central Africa, and violence in the DRC is complicating dealing with the outbreak. Dr. Carlos Del Rio is an epidemiologist and chair of medicine at Emory University School of Medicine, and he says it's not fully clear how this latest strain acts.
It's a little slower in spreading, but the onset of symptoms is not as acute as in the other form of Ebola. So potentially somebody can be infected and transmitting others before you know it. Initially, they can have fever, fatigue, body aches, and yet still be transmitting. So really controlling this outbreak is critically important.
Added concerns: the United States has pulled out of the World Health Organization and the closure of USAID. He says there has to be a lot of contact tracing, isolation, quarantine, and support for those infected.
USAID really had a lot of food, boots on the ground that could do something at this point in time.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
NASCAR legend Kyle Busch suffered what's called a severe illness at the age of 41. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer has more.
Still no definitive word, but for the past couple of weeks, Kyle Busch had been dealing with a sinus-related illness. And now a just-released 911 call from the day before his death reported he was experiencing shortness of breath, felt he was overheating, and was coughing up blood. Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel says two possible causes are most likely, either pneumonia or a blood clot.
The suddenness of that call sounds more like the blood clot. If you're suddenly struggling to breathe and coughing up blood, that's the blood clot. But then the missing thing is that was he experiencing chest pain? So it's most likely going to be one of those two things, that he was developing a pneumonia, that it got worse suddenly, or that he developed a blood clot.
Kyle Busch's most recent NASCAR Cup Series win came here in June of 2023 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Bush is believed to have died from pneumonia complicated by sepsis. From the KMOX business desk, some great news for Lambert International Airport this week. Senator Eric Schmidt and Representative Wesley Bell say a $30 million federal grant is coming to St. Louis. The money aimed at completing the Consolidated Terminal project, replacing aging infrastructure and more. Schmidt says the dollars will help drive economic growth and build a world-class transportation hub connecting the region for future generations. Bell last announced $3.1 million in federal funding in March aimed at supporting power infrastructure and terminal consolidation at Lambert International Airport. It's now 8:08, and we'll check the weather forecast coming up in 2 minutes here on Total Information AM.
Hello, 4th of July.
Back-to-back Jack! Kerry Robinson, a hero tonight!
The Cubs visit St. Louis May 29th through the 31st for a weekend of baseball's best rivalry at Busch Stadium. The history is real. The fans are loud, and the energy in the ballpark is unmatched. Day or night, every pitch matters when these two meet. So get ready, Cardinals fans. This is what summer baseball in St. Louis is all about. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/tickets.
The weekend starts at Busch Stadium. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Louvre. With $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
The final home game of the season is here, St. Louis. Your St. Louis Battlehawks hit the field Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. against the Dallas Renegades at the Dome at America Center. It's Battlehawk Kids Day, packed with family fun, Battlehawks energy, and an Archie bobblehead giveaway while supplies last. Join Battlehawks Nation. Bring the whole crew and help close out the season the only way St. Louis knows how. Loud and proud. Caw-caw. Because caw is the law. Get tickets starting at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com or Ticketmaster.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Coming up on Total Information AM, we're going to tell you about a village of tiny homes being built just for veterans. It's in Union, Missouri, and that's coming up next. First, the forecast.
KMOX AccuWeather for today, Memorial Day, sunshine mixing with clouds. Nice and warm this afternoon, high 81. Increasing clouds tonight, though 62. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Look for a shower later in the day, the high 80. For Wednesday, intervals of clouds and sun, warm and rather humid with a shower and thunderstorm in the area, the high 82. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's a really pretty morning this morning. We have sunshine, 65 degrees in Florissant, 64 in St. Peters, and 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. There is a village of tiny homes. It's just for veterans, and it's located in Union, Missouri. With me now on the Quiver River Electric Gas Line is Dan Menzie, president of Veterans Way. Dan, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks for having us. We enjoy the opportunity to speak with KMOX, that's for sure.
Well, why build tiny homes for veterans?
Oh, it's been a project that's been in my heart for a lot of years. I've got some relatives that have one of the 22 and unfortunately took his life from Vietnam, and several. I'm a veteran. My parents, my father was a veteran. My uncles, his brothers, and my grandfather was in World War I. And I had a real good friend that died from the Agent Orange effects from Vietnam, and it's just something that's in my heart, and I felt like giving back and blessed with the opportunity to do it.
What's the challenge for some veterans to find quality housing?
Oh my, we're getting phone calls pretty much daily now with veterans that unfortunately are on the streets or will be on the streets shortly, and we're going to make sure that they have a place to stay, and not just a place to stay, but a place to improve their lives.
Tell us a little bit more about this tiny homes village. Where does it stand in construction right now, and how many units do you ultimately hope to have?
Right now, we've got 21 of them that are close to being under roof. We've got 2 that we're pushing to get for display homes. The goal is to have 25, and then we're also going to have a community center on the property where they can gather and meet and talk about the old days, bad old days, or whatever they want to talk about. In that building, we're also going to have an office and a bathroom, and of course, and a laundry facility in the basement, a free store that's being supplied by Heroes Care out of Jefferson County, and then they will also be able to, there'll be a kitchen there, so if they want to have a group meal with, and people are volunteering to come in and cook for them, it's a wonderful thing. We're going to be a full service for the veterans.
Describe these homes.
Well, they're 12 by 24, except for the ADA compliant ones. They're a couple feet bigger, and each way, so that they can get around and they're okay. And they're 12 by 24. They'll be fully furnished, the veteran will be able to move in with just his clothing, basically. It's got a small kitchen in it, a bedroom and a living room and a TV, and we're supplying the internet and all that for them. Basically, they can move in with, and the only cost that they will incur will be their food and their cell phone at this point. But we're trying to get somebody to help with the cell phones if they don't have one.
How is this funded?
Oh, we started a 501c3 back in September, and we're getting bank loans at the current time, and hopefully we can find some government money in the near future to take over those loans so we can actually be a little more diversified with getting them in there. We're working with HUD and the VASH program, which is a veterans only homeless VASH. It's the military and their VA. Those initials, I don't know what it means for sure, but it's a program just for veterans.
What do you think this will mean for these veterans to have this community?
Well, these people are definitely in need of help in a lot of ways, not just financially, but we will also work with them to help them get counseling if they need counseling. We're working with VCP, which is Veterans Community Project out of St. Louis and Kansas City. They go there and they stay there for free, and then they fix them, but they're only allowed to stay there for 2 years. Long term, they can stay at our place for as long as they want. It's just going to be their home as long as they desire to stay there and be with their comrades.
How will residents qualify for this?
We have a board that we'll screen them, and then they have to apply through the HUD program to be able to qualify for it. But we'll have that all set up when the project's completed, and get them all the help they need to get that part of it done too.
When it comes to these first homes, what's the timeline that you're looking at to have these occupied?
Well, my original dream was December, but we know that didn't work out so good. Unfortunately, the weather hasn't been cooperating for the construction phase of it, so we still need to get the streets put in. But our new goal is by the end of July that we'll have them in there. It'd be appropriate for the 1776 celebration. Hopefully, God willing, we'll be able to get them in there for the 4th of July, the first ones. But we've got a lot of work to do in the next month, I can tell you that.
Dan, what do you need as far as help from the community to provide things that these veterans need?
Well, we've got, we're going to supply, like I said, everything inside the homes. We've had the VFWs and the Legions and of course, individuals that have been donating products for the homes. We would, we're always, funding is always a big one. If they can go to our site, and it's veteranswaycommunity.com, and they can follow us on Facebook under Veterans Way Union, Missouri, and they have a Give Butter account there, and if they would so feel it in their hearts to do that. And of course, all the items inside the house, we had one. The Legion here in Union, Missouri, had a drive, and the VFW had a drive to get bedding and sheets. We're pretty good on that right now, but you got to remember they're moving in, and everything's going to have to be in there. So everything from blinds to anything that the normal house would need, it needs. We're going to set up on our website to a list where they can donate. Like I said, funding is as important as anything else, and the Give Butter pages for that. And there's also a site on our website that they can do that too.
Dan, you mentioned that list of veterans that you knew personally. What is this going to mean for you when all of these homes are occupied by veterans?
Well, this is it. This is my dream. This is, excuse me. This has been in my heart, and I can't imagine it not being a good thing for everybody in the future. That's what it means to me.
Well, Dan, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time with us this morning here on KMOX.
And thank you for having us. I really appreciate it.
That is Dan Menzie. He is president of Veterans Way, joining us on Total Information AM. And still ahead this hour on Total Information AM, we're going to tell you about a new book. It's called The Hero Next Door, Stories of Patriotism and Purpose. It looks at heroes of the 9/11 generation. We'll get an update on Ebola and travel surrounding the World Cup. At 8:41, a St. Louis blogger is going to help you if you love coffee. We'll find out how to brew the perfect cup. And then at 8:51, what are your money triggers? A new journal is going to help you develop a better relationship with your money. I talk with author Lev Mandel of Money is Weird. Let's get a check of the forecast now. Looking at our Memorial Day weather, sunshine, some clouds, nice and warm this afternoon, a high of 81 degrees. Increasing clouds tonight with an overnight low of 62. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a shower late in the afternoon, a high of 80. And then on Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sun, warm and humid with a shower and thunderstorm possible, a high of 82. Right now, we have sunshine, 62 degrees, downtown at the Arch.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Today might be a good day to do a little recon. You going to a neighbor's house or a relative for a backyard barbecue? What does their outdoor space look like? Any good ideas that you can get there for your own space? Then take those great ideas to Chesterfield Fence and Deck, because Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. So when you want an upgraded or replaced, refurbished deck, when you want a new fencing, patio, pergola, sunroom, screen room, all of the above, if you really want to make your outdoor space everything it could be, Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the company to call. They will help you put the planning together. They do free project design. They do free in-home estimates, or you can go to their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley and get some fantastic ideas there and see the quality of the work they do. If you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. They are professionally trained installation crews. They've got all of their own stuff with the highest quality materials. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best at chesterfieldfence.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Thanks for joining Total Information AM here on KMOX on this Memorial Day. And as we mark this day, a look now at heroes of the 9/11 generation. ABC News' John Carl spoke with Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz about her new book, The Hero Next Door, Stories of Patriotism and Purpose.
I have stayed in touch with so many of the people I cover over the years. And you suddenly realize who they are and what they've done since and how long you've known them and how extraordinary their stories are.
The thesis of your book, as I see it, is that you just don't know who the heroes are.
You don't know who the heroes are, and this 9/11 generation, there are a lot of heroes. Whatever you think about politics, whatever you think about the wars, it's the people who fought them, the people who did the best they could do. Many were injured, there was loss, there are families in here who lost loved ones. There are people who are caring for a son who was badly injured in the war. This generation is no less great than the greatest generation, and I just feel people should read about it and read about these people and the resilience they still have today.
And you touch on the humility of these heroes. There's a passage right in the beginning of your book that really struck me. The one sure way to spot a hero may be to look for the ones who insist they aren't.
Exactly right. I mean, I think people think, oh, there's our superhero. Yeah. They're going to be this big brawling Marine or, you know, the guy, cocky guy moving down the street. It is rarely those people. It really is. And the ones I have met are really these quiet heroes who want to say, no, he did most of the work, or it was the teamwork, or all of us together. And that's true. That always is. But there's always somebody who's leading the way, and that's what has happened with these people.
And you talk about a Sergeant Little who you saw in Iraq who terribly injured, lost both of his legs, and you end up at his bedside in the hospital, and at one point you turn to him and you say, when did you realize you were so badly injured? And his line, I mean, I almost teared up reading it. Ma'am, they aren't bad, he said with a smile. I'm alive.
Exactly. What would be anybody's worst day of their life was Mark Little's best day, he said, because he lived. And that is how he has lived ever since. He got blown up by an IED. I was actually there when he arrived in the medevac helicopter to the Combat Support Hospital. It was gruesome. It was gruesome. And yet he was saying, man, my mom's going to kill me. She didn't know I was in danger.
Oh, my mom's going to kick my ass.
Your mom's going to kick your ass. He continued on in the Army, believe it or not, and not out there patrolling the streets of Baghdad, but he served. He continued to serve. And when he got out, he started something called Warrior 360, which helped veterans get money immediately. He walks on prosthetics now. He's married. He is the happiest guy you will ever meet.
Incredible. There's something that comes through in this book, and that is you have a reporter's eye for detail, and you write about going to the 20th anniversary ceremony of 9/11 at the Pentagon, and you notice these two guys in the audience, and you take a picture of them. Tell me about that.
I didn't know anything about them, but I wanted to share that picture with them because it was clearly an emotional day for them, and I got their information. Kevin Schaefer, Steve Workman, didn't ask them what had happened. vaguely said, he was in the Pentagon and he survived. But I didn't want to intrude on their moment. And then I got a call from the CIA saying that Kevin Schaefer, because of that photo, because of that moment, because I didn't intrude, I think, wanted to share his story with me and the remarkable story about what he had done since that day. Kevin was horribly burned in the Pentagon. He barely survived, and he was the only survivor in his group in the Navy Command Center that day.
There were 42 people that were killed in his unit. He was the sole survivor.
He was the sole survivor around that area, absolutely. Barely found his way out. And Steve Workman is that guy who ran towards the fire and smoke to see if there was anybody alive, and found Kevin Schaefer, skin falling off his arms, his chest, his uniform melted to his chest, and pulled him out of there and did everything he could to keep Kevin alive. And Workman visited him every single day until he got out of Walter Reed.
That's ABC correspondent Martha Raddatz. Again, that book, The Hero Next Door, Stories of Patriotism and Purpose. It's now 8:28, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's Tom Ackerman for the great company, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. 1926, a century of service. Here's to the garage door, the largest piece of moving equipment in our home. The garage door, sometimes we take it for granted. It goes up, it goes down. You just rely on it every single day to do what it does. Well, what if it doesn't someday? That would be a problem. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will keep your garage door reliable by checking it out. Just get it tuned up, make sure that it's running smoothly, and they can do it for any brand. You don't have to get it from them. Any brand of garage door, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will take care of that for you. Same-day service, too. 314-781-5200. 314-781-5200. And don't be fooled by the imposters out there. There's only one Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the one with the red ribbon. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
There's one box that you'd run back into your burning house to grab. It's the box filled with your videotapes, film reels, and photos. Those sentimental, meaningful, irreplaceable moments. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago so that we could help families save their memories from being destroyed by floods or fires.
And it's not just natural disasters, Adam. Every day, videotapes and photos are slowly fading away, decaying, neglected in closets and attics.
Digitizing your old media stops fading, and preserving those recordings means they are safe forever. It's like magic, converting your shoebox of memories into digital files, ready to watch and share.
It's the only way to ensure your legacy is safe for generations. That's why over 1 million families have already trusted Legacy Box. Legacy Box is simple and easy, it works, and is safe. We'd love to preserve your family's collection. Don't wait, the risk is too great.
Visit legacybox.com/radio to save 50%. That's legacybox.com/radio to get started and save. Legacybox.com/radio.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At 8:31, we have sunny skies, 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. In just a moment, we're going to get the latest on the Ebola outbreak, travel, and the World Cup. First, though, A check of the forecast from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. Your Memorial Day forecast calling for sunshine. A few clouds may come around. Nice and warm this afternoon, a high of 81 degrees. Increasing clouds tonight with an overnight low of 62. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy. A shower later in the afternoon, a high of 80. And that humid weather is going to continue on Wednesday. We'll have a mix of clouds and sun, a shower and thunderstorm possible, a high of 82. Pretty much the same on Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, warm and humid, thunderstorms in the afternoon, a high of 83. Right now we have sunshine, 65 degrees in Florissant, 64 in St. Peter's, 62 downtown at the Arch. It's now 8:32, and expanding restrictions on travelers entering the U.S. due to the growing Ebola outbreak in Africa.
When we talk about air travel and the restrictions that are in place, right now the CDC has said all non-U.S. citizens are effectively barred if you travel to these key areas of concern.
Emergency room physician and ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton.
The contagiousness of Ebola really comes into when you come into direct contact with the bodily fluids of someone who is infected, and people are typically only contagious when they are symptomatic. Now, here's the problem. This is affecting communities that are in dire need. They're already facing a crisis in not only limitations in healthcare, but also access and preventative equipment, and that is what's leading to the speed of the spread in Ebola in Africa right now.
There's also concern about World Cup teams.
I think you should have a heightened level of awareness, especially if you're going to be intermingling with a lot of people from a lot of different places and you're participating in international travel. Now, these players that are coming from the Democratic Republic of Congo are training in Europe, but right now they're going to still have to be screened and go through the effective measures to prevent the possibility of a spread of this virus.
The head of the World Health Organization says there have been 220 deaths believed related to the current Ebola outbreak. Controversy surrounding the Enhanced Games held over the weekend in Las Vegas. ABC's Sophie Flay has details.
While the Olympics go to great lengths to ensure performance-enhancing drugs don't poison the competition, the Enhanced Games encourage them. According to a new survey of most of the athletes, 91% used testosterone, 79% used human growth hormone, and 29% used anabolic steroids. Critics quick to condemn the event. The president of World Athletics saying no one within athletics takes the Enhanced Games seriously, and medical professionals warn of the many serious long-term health risks posed by PEDs.
It's now 8:34. Your Money Report next.
St. Louis is a baseball town, and the Gas House Gang talks Cardinals baseball. Ackerman, Ranji, Nicholas, and Claves bring informed opinions and real insight. Smart baseball talk from guys who truly know the game. And every Tuesday at noon, it's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol. Passion, knowledge, the best baseball talk in town. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon. We know baseball. KMOX.
Success is picking up extra shifts for your family. Now you want to be the boss. Success is getting your foot in the door. Now you want to take the next step. Success looks different to everyone, and University of Maryland Global Campus can help you reach your goals. And there's never been a better time to get started on your future. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. As an accredited state university, UMGC has been transforming lives for over 75 years. With more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, online and hybrid courses, personalized support, financial resources, and lifetime career services, achieving your dreams is more possible than ever before. Choose the program that's right for your career goals and get started on your next success. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The most recent measures of the collective U.S. consumer mood have shown gloom, with last Friday's University of Michigan sentiment measure falling to a nearly half-century low amid rising inflation angst. Today we get the Conference Board snapshot of U.S. consumer confidence, also for this month. Like the Michigan measure, it is expected to be down, but because the methodology is different, with greater weight given to assessments of jobs and income prospects, that decline likely will be smaller. The launch of the Iran war back on the last day of February delivered an economic shock, which combined with factors such as high mortgage rates, pulled on the U.S. housing market. Today we get the measure of average home transaction prices from S&P Cotality Case Shiller, with year-on-year price growth likely decelerating in March. If Fewer potential buyers visiting model homes this spring suggests that the pace of new home sales likely slowed in April. We find out about that later in the week. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
Lunch was great, but this traffic is awful.
Can we stop at a bathroom?
Are you all right?
I keep having stomach issues after eating, like diarrhea, gas and bloating, abdominal pain, and sometimes oily stools.
Sound familiar? Those stomach issues may actually be a pancreas issue called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Creon pancrelipase may help manage EPI. Creon is a prescription medicine used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. Call 800-633-9110 or visit creoninfo.com to learn more. That's creoninfo.com.
I'm asking my doctor about EPI and if Creon could help.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want up to the amount you're approved without chasing the loan officer. Number two, the bagel loan. No closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast. 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan in MLS 226715.
Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
Muni tickets for 2026 are on sale now, featuring Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. Choose your seats now at muni.org.
Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. In his first encyclical, Pope Leo calling for more regulation around artificial intelligence and for developers to work for the common good instead of being driven by profit. The Secret Service says officers shot and killed an armed man who opened fire at a White House checkpoint Saturday evening. A bystander also struck by gunfire in the incident and remains in serious condition. And more than 50,000 residents have been ordered to evacuate their homes in a Southern California town as officials work to contain hazardous chemicals in a damaged tank at an aerospace company. Let's check the forecast for your Memorial Day. And as we head into the work week, sunny with some clouds today. It'll be a warm afternoon, a high of 81 degrees. Increasing clouds tonight, an overnight low of 62. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a shower later in the afternoon, a high of 80. On Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sun, warm and humid, showers and thunderstorms possible, a high of 82. And pretty much the same thing for Thursday, variably cloudy, warm and humid, a thunderstorm in the afternoon, a high of 83. We have sunny skies now, 65 degrees in Florissant, it's 64 in St. Peters, and sunshine 62 downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. For a lot of us, me, coffee is a part of the morning routine. We have to have it. But for some people, it becomes a passion that turns into an exploration of flavors, brewing methods, coffee origins, even the science behind the perfect cup. Well, Andrew Potler is the St. Louis-based creator of Pull and Pour Coffee. It's an online community dedicated to helping people discover specialty coffee, brew better coffee at home, and learn more about the culture surrounding one of the world's most popular drinks. He spoke with Missouri Net's Bill Pollock.
Was there a specific cup of coffee or experience that made you realize coffee could be something much bigger than just caffeine in the morning?
Yeah, you mentioned coffee being something to kind of get you going in the morning. That's how the experience for many people, where it's the caffeine that kind of gets them into it, and then they kind of learn to enjoy it. Whereas I really never enjoyed coffee growing up. I didn't really need, even today, like the caffeine doesn't have much of an impact. So it was really not until I tasted what I, would consider good coffee, the lighter roasted specialty coffee. And specifically, there was a coffee out of Ethiopia, natural process from years ago. They had these really strong blueberry notes that they're kind of called blueberry bombs in the specialty coffee community. And it was a coffee that, unlike anything I'd tasted before, and it was kind of like almost didn't even seem to classify as coffee. And it totally changed my perception of what coffee could be. And all of a sudden I wanted to try coffees, not because I needed the caffeine, but because there was a whole different genre of beverage that I, didn't even know existed in the specialty coffee world.
Yeah. I mean, for listeners who may not know the term, what separates specialty coffee from what most of us will drink every day?
Yeah, so there's technically a scoring system. So everything like below an 80 is not, especially anything above is. But for most people, most of the coffee is kind of two species. So there's Arabica and Robusta. And so Arabica is kind of the brighter, sweeter, more complex coffees, and all specialty falls is Arabica. Whereas a lot of like the Folgers and other coffees mix in Robusta. It's easier to grow, higher yield, but also is more bitter and has kind of more of the woody, earthy taste that kind of many would associate with coffee, versus the more tea-like, brighter, lighter. So especially coffee is really just kind of when it's scored the higher end of coffee. And there's, a lot of roasters will kind of get even more specific, where they'll really focus on the farm and the producer. And, it's parallels to wine a lot as far as, knowing the variety of the beans that you're growing and things like that. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to the rating and the quality of the coffee.
Yeah. Pullandpourcoffee.com is the website. Andrew Potler created this. Your site dives into the brewing methods, the equipment. Why has coffee culture become so much more sophisticated and adventurous, over the last, I don't know, it seems to me like maybe the last 10 years?
I started Pull and Pour maybe 8 or 9 years ago. Really, it's just kind of a fun side project wanting to do. I'm a web designer as well, and I needed kind of a fun, creative side project. And I really was passionate about coffee, so it was a natural avenue, and it's kind of grown from there. But I think, the specialty coffee community has been growing for, probably starting 20 years ago. There's different what they call waves of coffee. So starting with like Starbucks and Peet's kind of making coffee culture, and then third wave coffee, which is where a lot of the specialty coffee roasters come in, where they really start to focus on that higher end specialty coffee, knowing the farmer and the producer and the variety of the beans that you're growing and things like that. And so that's kind of been growing. But really, I'd say even in the last 5 to 6 years, since COVID, the home brewing, people getting into brewing coffee at home and having different brew methods and stuff, it's really kind of exploded as people kind of were working from home. They wanted to make coffee from home. Maybe they couldn't go out in those few years of COVID. And so it kind of really launched from there.
Yeah. And, a lot of people are intimidated by specialty coffee because they think it might require expensive gear, or you have to be on that barista level in terms of skill. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about making better coffee at home?
Yeah, so I mean, I would agree with that. As with any hobby, you can go pretty deep and it can get pretty expensive, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I think sometimes the assumptions people have about, going into a coffee shop and feeling like they're going to look stupid if they ask a question, if they don't know, a different coffee. But, I found, at least around us in St. Louis, a lot of the cafes, like the people are super friendly and people are excited to share about coffee. So I think if you're totally unfamiliar, going into a cafe and just kind of asking some questions and explain what you like, the kind of coffee profile. And there's ways that, kind of gateway coffees, I'd say, and especially coffee, if you're used to like darker roasted coffees, there's some options that kind of can move you towards maybe coffees that are less familiar, but you maybe would like. And same thing on the brewing front at home. There's automated machines that kind of mimic the process of making a pour over coffee. So they do things like the bloom stage, which is what you're supposed to do at the beginning of brewing coffee. So it kind of saturates the grounds, allows the CO2 that's in the coffee beans to kind of escape to make a better brew. Like they'll have that process in the automated machine. So it's from a quality perspective, and maybe it's better than just like a pod cup, but it's still automated, so you don't have to do it yourself. As well as other brewers, the AeroPress is one of my favorite brewers, and it's super easy to use. It's literally, you can dump either pre-ground or grind yourself coffee and pour. They have numbers on the side, so you don't even need a scale necessarily. So there's a wide range of tools and machines that you can use if you're kind of intimidated by some of the brewing mechanisms that you see out there.
Yeah, and I think you cover this on pullandpourcoffee.com, but you write about this, how the brewing process, that can really change the flavor that people experience, can it?
Yeah, it's, a lot of the coffees, as you get into the higher end coffees, like roasters will give you, a brew guide for that coffee, the way that the amount of water you pour. So at the simplest form, the ratio of 1 gram of coffee to 16 grams of water. So you're using a scale so you can kind of measure that exactly, but also, the number of pours. So how much agitation there is in the coffee, and, when you pour, if you're pouring after 30 seconds, 45, so it can get pretty specific, but again, it doesn't have to be that way. That's kind of a way to really potentially get the most out of a coffee or experience different elements of a coffee. But if all of that's intimidating, it can be as simple as just, again, using a machine or using a brewing method that doesn't have all of those complexities.
That's Andrew Potler, creator of Pull and Pour Coffee, and Missouri Net's Bill Pollock. Coming up next on Total Information AM, what are your money triggers? Our next guest says money is weird, and he has a new journal that's going to help us develop a better relationship with it.
Bring your home back to life with Zero Res, a fresher clean that you can actually feel. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 and whole home air duct cleaning starting at just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them about the DGS KMOX deal.
Feel the rhythm and turn it up, St. Louis. Legendary rock icons Santana and the Doobie Brothers are bringing the heat to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater June 20th for the Oneness Tour 2026. From Black Magic Woman to Listen to the Music, this is the concert event fans don't want to miss. It'll be a summer night soon not forgotten. Santana, the Doobie Brothers. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, go to KMOX.com/events.
It's time to check out the exterior of your home. Tom Ackerman with you. Siding and windows, 2 things that can make your home look like the best home in the neighborhood. It just makes a huge difference. And the best in the business is Banner Construction. Since 1993, they have been the best when it comes to Pella windows. They're a Pella window specialist. They're a preferred James Hardie contractor. They are Banner Construction. You don't want to go with a company that doesn't entirely know what it's doing or tries to cut corners or hasn't been around for a very long time. 1993 is when they started, so over 30 years of excellence. Go online and see for yourself all the great examples at bannerconstruction.com. Banner Construction will come over to your home. They'll give you a free in-home consultation. You're going to love their team. I really appreciate Banner Construction and what they do here in St. Louis. Visit them online, bannerconstruction.com, 314-569-1050, and have a banner day.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM on this Monday. What's your relationship with money? Our next guest makes us think about it in a different way and hopefully develop some better money habits. Lev Mandel is a financial life strategist who has created a brief workbook full of cute little line drawings and spaces so that you can reflect. It's called Money is Weird.
Our experience with money starts at such an early age. My experience professionally, I started out actually doing research and then moved into software. I had an existential moment in software where I realized I was working way too hard just for money and didn't like what I was doing. Left, taught math, and then became a financial advisor. And so, I think I've had a long relationship with trying to figure out, money and time and balancing, what I want to do and how money, like all of us, is such a big part of that.
I think this is the cutest book on money I've ever seen. I've had fun just going through it. Why the format?
Great question. I think a lot of financial advice feels like you're going to a lecture. They're talking at you, they've got a PowerPoint, and some PowerPoints are awesome, but you're being talked at. I think that the difference in this approach is, how do we engage you to start really thinking about your relationship with money rather than someone telling you what they think you should do. And so, it really is much more of a workbook, a journal, with the idea of really wanting to start getting those wheels turning about what money feels like, our habits around money, our behaviors, and really looking at that, slowing down and building awareness around that.
One of the first questions you ask people in this is, what is the earliest specific happy childhood memory that comes to mind? And then you ask the earliest memory involving money. Why do you go that far back?
About 10 years ago, right when I started, I was asked the question, what's your earliest memory of money? And I still sit on that question. I still go back. I can get to be about 6, but I've been thinking about it a long time. And I think really, we form these, feelings around money, habits around how we behave around money, ideas around money from our parents, from early on, and they stay with us, whether or not we're consciously thinking about them all the time. And so I think it's really important to go back. And I also, though, wanted to, not just go back immediately to money. And that's kind of why I framed it as, what's your earliest memory of childhood? Also, just to kind of get you back into that childhood mindset and that kind of gut reaction and honesty and gut feeling around answering these questions. But I think, wanting it to not, really wanting to, I think part of what this book, one of the goals is to make it fun. And I know that's an ambitious word, but so wanting memories here to be positive, and that money's around memory can be positive too, even if they're stressful also. And so I think, I wanted to kind of, have a little bit of fun there.
You really bring out the fact that there are memories and emotion tied to our money and our spending.
Absolutely. And I think, that's the thing, is that whether, money is a tool, it's energy, it's emotion, it's all these things. It's memories, can mean survival, identity, how we express love, right, in families, and we've seen that, control. And so really money is a lot more than just numbers, right? And it's easy, especially as adults, when we get into looking at what's coming in and what's going out, and, and kind of it turns into this, calculation, but underlying, there's all these emotions underneath.
And with that, I noticed too that you include people, an opportunity, I guess I would say, for the reader to write down some of those triggers when it comes to money.
Absolutely. And, Megan, I have to be totally honest with you. I'm not the biggest journaler. I'm not great at that. I think so. Part of this too is I want to relieve some pressure there, that if you just want to doodle some notes in or draw a picture or and certainly answering the question is the overall goal, but also some of the questions are designed to just kind of get those wheels turning, right? And then you're walking in the grocery store 3 weeks later and the answer pops into your mind and it's like, oh gosh, there it is. So I think, really though, I think the goal is that when we're doing real financial planning, it's not just an advisor telling someone what to do, right? We're working on this together. And if you really want to improve your relationship with money, there's some real, investigation there around your history, around those feelings that you've dealt with your whole life, to really understand, how maybe sometimes you react one way or another when something happens financially.
So when someone works through this process, what are your hopes for them down the road?
Great question. Megan, that's wonderful. I think ideally it's a sense of being able to slow down and really make intentional financial decisions. And they might not be the most rational, and that's okay, right? If they're reasonable, that's really wonderful. If they're intentional, purposeful, and we're taking our time to really make sure that they align with what is important to us. And I think so, but I think before we even get that, it's about slowing down. It's about the self-awareness. It's about hopefully releasing judgment, about, oh, I'm bad with money, or I'm bad with math, or I'll never be good at this. And looking at kind of the environment that you grew up in and the lessons you learned, and saying to yourself, hey, isn't this interesting? And hey, this is not my fault. And I think, that would be a great takeaway for everyone.
That is Lev Mandel, financial life strategist and author of Money is Weird.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Red Pocket Mobile.
Accidents are the leading cause of death for children ages 1 to 4 in the United States, with drowning the top cause in this category. No single method or intervention can eliminate the risk of drowning. However, the National Drowning Prevention Alliance says risk is reduced through layers of protection, barriers and alarms near pools, swim